And Hal is very good in certain things. I would never tell Hal. I would never second guess Hal in what he's really what he knows. Experiments in the laboratory. He has this new thing, Bohm-Aharonov effect for communication. I don't know. I haven't seen the details, but that may work. I'm not objecting to that. But everything where he tried to do gravity physics and his 0 point energy polarized vacuum theory, it's wrong. In many ways, it's wrong. And if you look on Wikipedia, even the Wikipedia page says it's wrong. It gives several reasons why it's wrong. Okay, so that's where I'm at. Also, the James Woodward, the Mac thruster thing, it's all bullshit. It's all wrong. But at least Woodward's thing was proper falsifiable. But the point is, Woodward, he's an old guy. He's on his deathbed. So, he's a sweet guy, nice guy. He's like Don Quixote, and he has various Sancho Panza.
Well, that the Estes Park conference, which he headed, which he used to head the STAFE conference, and that's like these guys started what APEC is now today.
Yeah, no, I understand that. And listen, he's a Don Quixote.
Yeah.
Like Don Quixote. Okay, he's chasing windmills. He doesn't understand basic. By the way, and also, I worked for a while with one of his this guy Keith Wanzer, who's on the same faculty. And actually, James has I think a bachelor's in physics, but his PhD is in the history of physics, and he's made some very elementary mistakes. And I'm surprised that people work there. He violates Einstein's equation equals mc squared. He doesn't know the difference between the mass and the gravitational field. That the weight of an object is W equals mg. So he wants to lower m. When the point is you want to keep m fixed and lower g. That's what warp drive is controlling g with small amounts of energy. So, and the point is this: if Jim were to do what he says, if he were to lower the mass, he'd blow up half of California. Do you realize, with the atomic bomb, the fat boy atomic bomb in Hiroshima, you know how much mass was converted to energy there?
Boy.
A paperclip, less than a gram. About 7/10 of a gram was equivalent to 10,000 tons explosion of TNT. So imagine he wants to take 10 kilograms.
Yeah, just imagine if the guys who made the bombs were as bad at math as that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's so stupid. I mean, I don't understand. Okay, the only way I could say, by the way, the only way I could say this now, what I think is really going on, is that I'm half joking, but I'm sort of maybe serious. You know about slide 9? Slide 9, Louis Elizondo's slide 9, the thing where they talk about how with psychotronic weaponry you can infiltrate people's minds, take sort of possession. It's almost like witchcraft. Okay, so I think something has happened. There's something going on because so many people are so incompetent, so stupid. Not only in physics, I'm talking about in politics. That it's as if they're possessed, and I understand the physics of the psychotronic physics of it, how you can actually manipulate people's minds at a distance. It was all the stuff that actually Hal Puthoff at Vostok, remote viewing, all that stuff. Okay?
Sidney Gottlieb and the MK Ultra with the Montauk chair and all that stuff.
Now let me tell you something about Sidney Gottlieb. I'm not sure. The girl I was in love with in Midwood High School was Ellie Gottlieb. And I think Sidney Gottlieb in Midwood, I think Sidney Gottlieb was her uncle or something like that. Okay? And because I was involved with all these people, I was involved with MK Ultra, all that shit. Okay? So, this is very...
why we have you on here.
Yeah. So, all right, so there we are. So what I'm saying is that you cannot trust anything you hear about the science behind the UFOs from all the guys who are controlling the narrative. I mean, Bob Lazar, George Knapp, Jeremy Corbell, even what's his name, Coulthart. What's his name? The Australian guy, Ross
Coulthart. Yeah.
Yeah, Ross. Okay, Ross. He's a good guy.
It's just weird to me about the whole thing. They've always been nice enough guys to me. Sal Pays has always been super nice to me. Ashton's always been super nice. And I've just been super skeptical, trying to get all the sides of the story, and I've just seen this thing.
Listen. The point is this: you have to have respect. Okay, what degrees in physics do they have? Okay.
Oh,
Ashton has none. As far as I
right.
know, Ashton has nothing. He's just a fake.
Right. And Rossi's self-taught as well. So I think
so these guys, it's like, would you want to go fly in an airplane, a 747, from a guy who just gets out because he thinks he can do it and never had the training? It's the same thing.
Yeah. No, but what's so crazy, Jack, is that like I'm out here putting a lot of the science stuff out, and I get a fifth of the views he gets when he does a video trying to talk about the same thing, and gets
who are you talking about, Ashton?
Like Ashton, and if I see him streaming live, sometimes I'll jump on and help like direct him to a lot of the physics.
Okay, well, that's the problem. The problem is that most people in the world are very stupid, and that's why we're going to hell, and we almost had a nuclear war.
Oh, it's idiocracy. It's idiocracy in real
time. It's idiocracy. It's partly deliberate. See, it's partly because with the world wars, World War I, at least in Europe and England and Germany and everything, the best and the brightest were killed in the trenches. So that's why, when I go to Europe right now, I mean, these guys in control, they're lovely people. They're very charming people, but they don't know, they're like stupid. I can't believe how stupid they are.
Do you think there's a hidden hand that pushes this stuff, or is it just that stupid stuff is just more identifiable?
I don't know. 50-50.
Because most people are. Yeah, it's hard for me to say, because I say like, wow, like these guys are getting a lot of numbers and they're talking about a lot of the concepts that I've already been down these rabbit holes for 20 years. And I see Ashton out here pretending like he's an expert on all this stuff, and I have to constantly like show.
Well, we don't know who's really behind Ashton. It could be, it could be a disinformation operation.
I'd like to get Ashton on. I keep trying to get him. I want to get him back on.
I'd just be rude to him because he's so stupid.
I know.
I
try to keep it civil because you know what? Hey, everyone's working on their own things, and I just try to offer a platform for disclosure for everybody. Because if these guys have a free energy machine, I told them bring it to MIT with me and let's show it off and prove it to the world.
Okay, we had this guy Joe Firmage back 20 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Gave us several $1 million, Creon Levitt people, Larry Lemke, Networks, Gary Nolan. And we checked out a lot of these things. It was all bullshit. Nothing worked. Nothing worked as advertised because mainly the people, a lot of crackpots out there. There are a lot of Sal Paez's and people like that. And so it's just nonsense.
What was the name of that company that Joe Firmage had? He had started a company that invested in anti-gravity research.
He invested in. I was one of his chiefs. It was me, Hal Putoff. We helped him create. It was called Internet ISSO. The problem was he didn't listen. Even Hal. I mean, Hal gave him good advice. He didn't listen to Hal. He went ahead and did. I won't go into all the personal details. He had some character issues, some mental issues, which also. But basically, what happened is that it lasted about 2 years.
He ran for president. I saw his campaign.
Yeah, and then he got involved with Brandon Fugel. With the politics of the Mormons. He comes from the royal family, the Mormons. He's related to Joseph Smith and all that. And in any case, I don't want to. There's no point getting into it. Joe meant well, but he didn't realize his own limitations. Okay, and that's the problem with most of these guys. A lot of them mean well.
Yeah,
but they don't realize what they don't realize when they don't know. They're not well educated in many.
So back to this whole idea of this Pays effect, and if this thing could work out.
Oh no, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. That's not the Pius effect. That's something that don't mention.
No, let's talk about some of these other. We're getting into some of this other stuff, and I wanted to talk about some of these new papers because.
Yeah, that's all valid stuff. But so what?
Oh, also, hey, we were talking about using LIGO. I think I asked you this question.
I know that's good. That's decent.
Remember this? I asked you about this on a stream, and you told me like, yeah, you could use LIGO to detect gravity waves, and now they're doing it.
Well, yeah, okay, of course. So what?
No, I mean not gravity waves. To detect UFOs. And now they actually wrote a thing on it about using LIGO to detect warp drive UFOs.
Oh, you mean you talk about this paper? I don't think they've actually done it. They're just proposing something there.
They're proposing it, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
So, I don't know if they got the idea from us, but
no. Listen, it's just a proposal, and I don't think it's being. I don't think Kip Thorne, any of those guys, are interested in UFOs. Unfortunately, I don't think, and I don't think LIGO is not the best way to do it anyway. There are much better, easier ways to do it.
How would we
need LIGO?
Avi Loeb's talking about building detectors for UFOs.
Yeah. Okay, Avi. Okay, the Avi Loeb is another one. Okay, first I got to be careful. Okay, Avi Loeb, he's not in the same category as Sal Pais or James Woodward. Avi Loeb, after all, he is the head of the Smithsonian thing at Harvard, although Harvard has gone downhill in many ways because of their woke policies. But Avi Loeb is an Israeli guy. Allegedly, he's partly a Mossad, has something to do with the Mossad, but so did Uri Geller. He's a farm boy, Israeli farm boy. And what he is, he's a smart guy, no question about it. He's an instrument man. Okay, he knows about instruments, and I'm sure he's very good about instruments. He doesn't understand shit really about general relativity, and neither does that guy Sean Kirkpatrick, was it, who he worked with. They published this stupid paper, and actually the paper was good in a way because what the paper does, it shows that you actually need warp drive, the conventional propulsion, but they never even meant, the whole emphasis, the whole spin of the paper. It's clear to me that Avi Loeb, whether by intention or whether he's just a useful idiot of other people behind him, that he's just being used to obfuscate what's really going on. Because the physics explanation of what's really going on is straightforward. It's mainstream. It's applied general relativity and some quantum mechanics. It's elementary physics. Explains everything.
Do you think it's like Operation Mockingbird, Manhattan Project style diversion?
I don't know. The thing is this: here's the thing. My experience is that most of the people I know in control, high level, they are really stupid. I mean, by the way, I'm not the only one saying this. What's his name? The guy. The guy from Fox News, from Fox.
Tucker Carlson.
Tucker Carlson. He grew up, and I know his father. His father was involved in a think tank. I know people.
His father was CIA, correct?
Yeah, CIA and Richard Carlson.
Volume's really loud. Yeah.
Yeah, and the point is that Tucker grew up, all these people in Washington, right at the center of things, and he knows how stupid they are, how clueless they are. It's not just Kamala Harris who's stupid. They're also, it's not only Anthony Blinken and all these neocons. They're crazy. They're stupid and they're crazy, and they're dangerous. They're going to get us all killed. They almost got us all killed 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
we had a nuclear war.
Right. Well, Jack, I was wondering your perspective of what's like Iran did to Israel. Like, what's your geopolitical?
I don't know. I don't know right now, too, because they're covering up.
I don't want to bring that up. I want to on the
science. Let's stay on
these guys
on this.
So,
let's stay on this.
It looks like Ashton Forbes, Dave Rossi, and Sal Pays are all kind of teamed up together.
Yeah, there's some group of idiots, okay? They're a bunch of schmucks, and anybody who listens to them is just a stupid. They'll get, it's stupid. They're not serious. As they used to say in the KGB, they are not serious people.
And then this got 804 views, and it starts off with Bob Grenier talking about these videos.
Great science.
He mentions my name, but they don't really talk about my work or anything about me.
Dr. Robert Grenier from the Martin Fleischmann Memorial Project.
Yeah, and the video is just a short. He's talked about some of the work and this, but it's a short clip, and he just goes into like the video and why he thinks the video is legit and gives some
video of what? What are you talking? I know what you're talking about.
Of the orbs.
He's talking about the orbs in this.
Oh,
video
the orbs.
Stuff
the orbs. The orbs are real.
So your take is the orbs are real, Jack? Yes.
Orbs. I don't know about this particular video. I happen to know a lot about the orbs.
Well, let's hear about orbs and the because I've talked to a lot of different experts. I talked to T.D. Barnes of Area 51. He seems to think it's ECCM, like plasma balls.
Yeah, okay, you want my take on the orbs?
And I want your
I don't care what other people have told you. I just know what I know, okay? I don't care.
Right.
Let's not waste time with other people. I don't know who they are.
And this is not the orbs in the MH370 videos.
No, I'm not talking about those orbs. I don't know. I'm not saying.
All right, I'm going to get that off the screen.
Yeah, just get it. I'm talking about Bledsoe. The Bledsoe guy. You know about him?
Yeah.
Bledsoe.
Also, my friend Jay says he tried the CE5 meditation from Stephen Greer and summoned an orange.
Okay,
orb.
Greer, I don't trust Greer. I'm not saying. Okay, Greer's a.
Yeah, but a friend of mine said he's summoned
just the
an
plasma
orange
orbs
twice.
in general, right? They're plasma.
Yeah. All right, if I can say it, if you guys just shut up and let me talk, okay? Because none of you guys know what you're talking about, okay?
Yeah, we're a bunch of schmuck.
Okay, the orbs. There is a species of non-human intelligence that are sentient plasma orbs. Okay, and the physics of this is fairly well understood. Is this guy Ken Scholl, by the way? There was a paper by a letter by Richard Feynman that a friend of mine, this guy Daria, found. And I actually worked with Ken Shoulders. Ken Shoulders was part of our group with Firmage at ISSL. Ken Shoulders was a serious guy. And so the orbs, there are several kinds of extraterrestrials, or NHIs, they're not non-human sentient intelligences. And the orbs is one of them. There are also grays. The grays, I can tell you that the grays are real. I have seen smoking gun evidence of the little, the guys with the big eyes.
But are they like humanoids that are time traveler? Like, is it interdimensional opposed to alien?
I don't know what interdimensional means. That's not what
time. Interdimensional would be they're traveling through time, not necessarily.
No, okay, but that's confusing. Right away, you see, you don't know what you're talking about. You just
that's why I'm asking.
To a physicist, you sound like an idiot. Okay, let me explain things to you. Okay, because you don't know what you're talking about. All right. Eric Weinstein, I agree actually with Eric Weinstein. He said when he hears the word extra-dimensional, he wants to take his phaser out, his revolver. Because depends, you have to define what you mean by extra-dimensional. You don't, and I don't have the time to go into what that term might mean. It's very ambiguous. It can mean several different things in physics, in mainstream physics, okay? You don't need extra dimensions for time travel. You can have them on the simplest thing with time travel you can do in 4 dimensions. No problem. Okay, no problem. So what were you asking now? Okay, so all this is time travel. Let's get this very straight. It's all time travel. As soon as you can control gravity with small amounts of energy, that's time travel. That's all, because the gravity field is the field of space-time fabric itself. If you can manipulate gravity, you can manipulate time, space-time, and you can travel in time. And I could go into detail. It's called tipping of the light cones. You have to read Roger Penrose, and it's well-known physics, elementary stuff that you guys really have to learn the math. If you don't know the math, it's just like a bunch of.
What about if you trap a photon in a polariton condensate? Doesn't it gain a mass term? I mean, David Chester was talking about this recently.
Repeat that slowly.
There's like a mass term that can be gained in the photon if it's in certain. Yes,
I've been publishing that. I've been, it's elementary math. It's called the Higgs effect. The Higgs field. It's called the Meissner effect and superconductivity.
Yeah,
this is all elementary physics, guys. You just got.
I've been talking about trapping light and spinning in circles for like a decade now. So
yeah, well, that's not. Yeah, well, I don't know about that either. I don't know if I. Okay, well, but the point is this: all this stuff is elementary. That you got to do your homework and just go on. The Wikipedia pages in physics are not bad. There may be some, but I found them fairly accurate. And they give good references. And the thing about the mass inside the metamaterials, the photons inside the metamaterials gain a rest mass, and so do the gravitons, both the electromagnetic and the gravity fields inside the metamaterials when there is a Freudic condensate, which is like a room temperature superconductor.
Yes.
They get effective mass, but so what? Yeah, they do. That confines them. So, they don't leak out into space. They're not like ordinary gravity, although they couple with ordinary gravity inside the metamaterial. So the answer roughly, but extra dimensions, like there's a guy, Bernard Carr, who's a very good physicist. I know him for years. He worked with Stephen Hawking, Cambridge guy, Englishman. He has a 5-dimensional theory Okay, and that's made. You know, there was a Kaluza-Klein. A string theory does have 11 dimensions, in some versions 23. You know, whatever. But the point is, you really don't need that. You really don't need that. In ordinary, what's called ordinary gauge theory of the standard model, they have extra dimensions, but they are internal symmetry dimensions. It's called fiber bundle mathematics. Okay, but you don't need extra dimensions to explain any of the high strangeness of the ESP, you know, of the UFO phenomena. You don't need that. There's a minimal. You can explain it without any of that. So anybody, if you hear like Louis Elizondo's an idiot, okay, he means well, but you know he doesn't know physics. I think he did have some training in biological warfare.
How does he mean well though? Wasn't his job the counterintelligence agency?
Well, I don't know.
Like, come on, give us a straight answer on that.
Well, when I say means well, okay, let me qualify that. You have a point. Right? What I mean is the core narrative, which is we're being observed. Okay, NHI, you know, we're in contact with this non-human intelligence, higher intelligence. I say they're time travelers. Okay, all that is true. The explanations of it, how to understand it, none of these guys understand. And the reason I'm suspicious of guys like Louis Elizondo is that he had the opportunity to learn the real physics from me, Jose Rodal, other real, even Travis Taylor to some extent, even though they kind of worked out. But and he didn't do a good job. His book, you know, has all this like silly. He talks about Eric Davis and put off, and you know,
isn't Travis Taylor another one of these laser expert guys and stuff?
Yeah, but Travis at least understands. Understands what I'm talking about, at least to some extent. Yeah, Travis is also an instrument guy, but he's a smart guy. Okay, he's a smart guy, and Travis did summarize my theory in a one-line tweet on December 11th, 2022. He said, Control K in G equal KT and control the universe. And that is a beautiful bumper sticker explaining everything I've been talking about since 2011 when I first announced this simple explanation of UFOs in terms of warp drive, in terms of Einstein's general relativity. G equal KT is basically Einstein's gravity field equation. K is the coupling between matter and gravity. And if you could increase that coupling constant, everybody thinks it's weak, that it's small. But obviously what the UFOs are showing us is that there is a technology that's able to increase that coupling, and then you can manipulate gravity with very small amounts of energy. Right. This is something Sal Pais with his Superforce doesn't understand that.
Right, we don't have to break the Schwinger limit.
More along the lines of what John. No, sorry.
What are you babbling here? You're babbling like a retard.
Canadian stoner. I forgot the name right as I was trying to say it. It'll come back to me.
All right, listen. Don't tell me about what other schmucks say. Only I'm the big schmuck here. Okay, I'm only interested in what I say because I know what I'm talking about.
I was trying to bring up microgravity.
Everything is precise. I could write. I can show you the math.
I want to ask you another question, Jack. While I have your attention, your time, and
John Brandenburg. Sorry, John Brandenburg. I was trying to bring up John Brandenburg and the three different anti-gravity experiments he presented in APEC last time.
Yeah, I don't know about it. I don't know about his experiments. Okay, if it works, that'll be great.
Right, one good test is worth 1,000 expert opinions.
Yeah,
and
I haven't spent time on John's experiments.
Yeah, that's all we need is if you got it. That's why we do the experiments and we try to build the stuff.
Okay, but I think you're not at a point, and anything you're trying to build now is not going to work if you don't have the theoretical understanding of what you're looking for. You don't know what to try to measure unless you have an understanding of the theory, and you have to go back and forth. But you just can't go into a lab. It's like monkeys on a typewriter. If you're lucky, well, maybe you'll get somewhere. But
now, this is interesting. I don't know if you've seen this yet. This group came out. They have a website called appliedphysics.org. I don't think it's not related to the journal at all. But it says that they're
this is it's okay, but they're toy models, and this ask it's mostly vapor. It's mostly bullshit. It's not totally bullshit. But is that Bobrick? Who are the people?
I don't know who's behind it. It almost
Well, it
looks like
says. Just look. They'll give their names.
well,
Yeah, I think it's Lentz. Is it Lentz?
Our team. Okay, it's Gianni.
Oh yeah, Bobrick. Yeah. Now these guys know something. They know something, but they don't have the basic idea. They haven't solved the energy problem.
Oh yeah, Alexei Bobrick. I think I've heard of him.
Yeah, right. These guys are all standard physicists, but they don't have it. Their models are okay, but their models can't explain what we're seeing. They can't explain the phenomena.
But who's funding this is what I'm interested in. It's like
go slower. Okay,
huh?
a lot of people there. Somebody's funding it.
They have offices in Sweden and then Madison Avenue in New York.
Yeah, okay, good. Listen, I wish them all the luck. That's good.
But
these guys, okay, these guys are not of the same caliber as Paez and Woodward and Putoff. These guys are above that.
Okay? Yes.
They're above that. I don't think they have. They're stuck. They're
not above you, though, right?
They don't have the idea of increasing the coupling constant between. Their math is correct, but you have to understand. There's a coupling constant that couples, say, the electromagnetic field to the gravity field. If you want to use the electromagnetic field to generate a gravity field, that coupling constant is very weak. In fact, it's the inverse of what Sal Paez calls the superforce. It's the reciprocal of the superforce, and it turns out it's 10 to the minus 43 reciprocal newtons of force. That's the coupling. That's the coupling that Einstein used in 1915 when he, in order to show how his general theory of relativity reduced to Newtonian gravity, and with bending of light, all that stuff. So it was a purely empirical thing. And for very stupid reasons, everybody in physics, almost everybody in physics today, thinks that that's a fixed constant. You can't do anything to change it. And in that case, it's in warp drive. I'd say if that constant, the inverse, I'll use Paez's thing, the inverse of the superforce, if that is fixed at 10 to the minus 43 reciprocal newtons, that would mean that UFOs could not exist. So since we know the UFOs are flying around, Commander Forever tells us the Tic Tacs, all that stuff, and a lot of other, evidence for it. So we know that assumption is wrong. And once you realize that basic belief, it's like believing in the Immaculate Conception. It's a religious belief. Physics is based on evidence. The evidence is that that's not true. And as soon as you realize that's not true, everything falls into place and we understand it. Now, then the question is, how do you manipulate that coupling constant? And that's Manhattan Project 2.0. So I don't see anything. I'll have to look at that. Send me that link again.
But has there been a Manhattan 2.0 in the last 2-3 generations? Or have there been several?
There haven't been any. It's been bullshit. There was one thing they tried. I know these guys. When I was at Cornell in the late 50s, it was Ed Witten's father, Lewis Witten, and Bryce DeWitt, and Wheeler. And I personally knew. I didn't know Louis Witten, but I did know Bryce DeWitt. I worked with John Wheeler. I know some, and they tried to figure it out, but I think they failed. They definitely failed because I would have heard. I knew Feynman, and I would have heard Wheeler. They would have said something in the 60s. They failed because they didn't have the idea. They just assumed that the coupling constant, Newton's G over speed of light and vacuum to the fourth power, they assumed that was fixed. You couldn't do anything about it. Forget the spin vector potential. That's noise in my signal right now. That's irrelevant.
Okay.
Yeah, irrelevant. It's you're going off like a chicken without a head. You're just like randomly showing shit.
No, I'm trying to find the right slide. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find it.
All right.
I'll take it down.
I mean, that's good physics. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, that's interesting physics, but it's not directly related to what we're talking about.
Where you have a paper I could look up for that? I mean, I know you have.
I got a million things. All the PowerPoints, the forensic. It's all over the place.
Well, in response to this question, the missing trillions, that just could be good old straight corruption, right? It doesn't necessarily mean
let's not confuse. That's a separate issue. Yeah. Now, it could be so. What David Grush and other people like that have indicated that these guys may have stolen trillions of dollars from the taxpayer, with these black projects, and they were so incompetent. So that's maybe why they're afraid, because if it comes out, they're afraid all going to jail for fraud. CIA's Ronald Pandolfi, he's basically said that he calls them crooks and loons, defrauding the government. So I don't know if the details. We'll see. That's part of the problem.
Definitely part of the problem, and part of the problem why the Yemenis in Iran have hypersonics and we aren't fielding them right now.
All right, but that's a separate. He doesn't want to get into politics. I mean, I'm willing to get into politics.
My apologies. My apologies.
But just let's stay on. Okay, is there anything? I think we've covered.
I want to talk about this. We briefly touched on it, and I want to go back to it because
I want back to what?
This is a legit paper, though, because I saw Ashton had posted this paper of Richard Feynman talking.
I posted it. I posted it about 2 hours ago.
You posted, so that's legit. That came from you.
Yeah, he copied me. He monitors my website. I put it up there about 2 hours.
Well, at least he's trying to.
Well, I don't know. Maybe the guy sent it. Me got it from him. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was pretty wild.
But the point is, he's talking. Feynman is talking about Ken Shoulders. I worked with Ken Shoulders on that problem. There's a paper between me and Ken Shoulders on this very problem.
Is that how Feynman came around to this? Because he originally
no Feynman. This paper was written in Feynman's letters like 1986. I didn't work with Ken Shoulders until 1999. So this was before. But Ken Shoulders was a big shot. Ken Shoulders was like, who's the guy?
The father of EVOs.
Now, just listen. Ken Shoulders told me that he worked for the CIA, part of his thing. He was the guy who made all these little gadgets, like in the James Bond novel. Who's that guy who makes, the pen, the exploding pen, stuff like that? For the
Q, right? Was it Q?
Yeah, I forget who, but he's that kind of guy. He's a legitimate guy. And Feynman, from the letter, Feynman apologized. That's amazing. Feynman apologized to Ken because when Ken first came in and talked about the physics of the orbs, this is the physics of the plasma orb I'm talking about, okay? And how could you get a bunch of electrons to not blow apart if they rotate, you have a magnetic field, And Feynman finally realized that what Ken was talking about, that there was an elementary explanation for how these things can hold together. Even classically speaking, there are other ways they're holding together. I think it would have to do with quantum mechanics, but right now. So this is what Feynman's talking about with Ken Shoulders. That's the classical part of the physics behind the sentient orbs that a lot of these experiences are talking about. Uri Geller says he got his powers from an orb. Joe Firmage, all kinds of people, Dan Smith. I mean, a lot of people talking about the orbs, and it goes back to the Middle Ages, even back in history.
Well, like ball lightning style orbs, correct?
Yeah, but it's not ball lightning.
It's plasma, and it's consciously directed, and they.
Well, of course, plasma. Okay, plasma has both ions, has both positive and negative charges. What Ken's talking about here is only negative charges, but rotating with magnetic fields. A little bit different, but they're loosely speaking, it's a kind of physics that's related to the orbs. It's interesting stuff.
Yeah.
At first, it sounds pretty crazy, but as you can see, even Feynman issued a letter of apology, which for Feynman that was unusual.
It's not easy, yeah.
Okay. All right. So what else?
I was blown away that Richard Feynman and Ken Shoulders had a collaboration. That's
well, briefly. It was just briefly. And by the way, at this point, Feynman was already dying of cancer.
Right.
And he was going to Esalen. Turns out, just a side story. Feynman's girlfriend at the time, when he was dying, she was a psychologist, was my girlfriend briefly afterward, 10 years later. We shared the same woman. Yeah. So that's pretty
Legends.
funny. Plus, I knew Feynman. Feynman helped me with my thesis in the 60s.
It was a fine man or a fine woman?
Feynman. Yeah. All right. So let's go on. Anything else?
Cornell. Heck yeah. I have a couple questions about. Would you be willing to debate if I could arrange a debate with you and Sal Pace? Do you think that would be productive? Do you think we?
The problem is I'm going to London in a week, and I won't be back till first week or so in December. So
we can do it in the new year if you want, or Christmas special, mixed mental arts debates.
Yeah, I'm more of an experimentalist, myself. I'm more of like I'm not definitely not as well versed in the math and the physics as you or David Chester and stuff. But
it can be in 2025 too. We can set a time and date, prepare for it, and
if you want to do it, in January, early January, we could do it then. But I'm not going to have time going to London and Paris, and I'll be busy.
Sure.
For sure, I appreciate your input and what you said about that. What's your thoughts on Eric Weinstein? And
okay, we talked about Eric. Okay, Eric is an arrogant asshole, but so am I. Eric's a very smart guy. He's a smart guy I guess he's from New York. I don't know. No, he's from LA. Smart Jewish guy. And I don't know about his geometric unity claims. I think that guy, Tony, the Chinese guy, is probably correct that Eric's theory will turn out to be ill-formed or whatever. But so what? So he's got a wrong theory. I've had plenty of wrong theories. Good. But he's a creative guy. And everything Eric says about other topics, like what he says about Harvard and the woke, the DEI, and about the fake reality and the political situation, I agree with Eric pretty much 100% on all topics apart from his geometric unity physics theory, which I'm not qualified to comment on it. And I did get the sense watching that Chinese guy that probably Eric is probably mistaken. Also, apparently it was something he did 25 years ago, and he's forgotten some of the stuff. He's getting older. He doesn't quite remember it, so But what Eric wants to do is exactly what I want to do. If you look at Eric's podcast with this guy, Chris Williamson, a recent podcast, Chris Williamson, and Eric criticizes Elon Musk for the same reasons I do, saying, well, listen, you have this stupid rocket. The rockets are not even good to get to Mars. You're not going to get to the stars in a rocket. You should be trying to control gravity. So Eric he's in tune with everything I've been saying, but he doesn't, he should, I pissed him off because, I piss people off easily, right? I pissed Eric off, so he's afraid to talk to me. But, eventually he talks to me. We'll find we actually have a lot in common. We actually agree on more things than we disagree about. Let's put it that way. And he's a mensch. Eric, he's a PhD from Harvard. Eric knows a lot more mathematics than I know. His physics intuition is not as good as mine. Okay. He thinks too abstractly.
I think
he's
a
mathematician.
I have a lot of respect for Eric and Brett because
I don't know about Brett. I know, but I'm sure Brett. Yeah, Brett's into the COVID stuff, which I don't know. By the way, I did get a COVID shot yesterday. I'm still walking around. It's my fifth. I got a COVID shot and a flu shot. I've had about 4 or 5 of them, and I have no ill effects.
You're gonna get myocarditis and die.
No, not yet. I'm 80. Hey, I'm 85.
We don't even want to talk about that because that's medical.
You are a medical anomaly at this point, Jack, and we're glad they're keeping you alive.
Yeah, the ETs are keeping me going.
Well, you guys don't have CVS. I guess the CVS were like the bad ones, and now their stock's going.
I had to bring up this.
No, I did. I got a shot. I got a shot from CVS, not yesterday, but about 2 or 3 years ago. I got a shot from CVS. I was fine. Nothing happened to me.
Huh.
So maybe it was,
Professor Dave's video on the Weinstein brothers.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Everything he said. Okay. These things. Everything Eric says. Forget that. There's no point wasting time, and it's the mathematics in that is too advanced for even most mathematicians to advance. Eric knows his math. Okay, he does a lot more math than I do, but it's not that important. It turns out the math you need to solve the UFO problem is element. You need calculus, you need trigonometry, you need some matrices. You don't need much more than the first 2 or 3 years of college math for engineers. That's all you need. It's not a very difficult problem. Yeah, that guy's he's just, I believe that guy. He's probably right, but it doesn't matter. That's not why Eric is important. Eric is important for other things, not for his physics, not for his geometric unity theory.
Right.
Can you go into more detail about what you were talking about, evidence of the grays earlier you mentioned?
I got to be careful because I was read into classified information by a guy who shouldn't have showed me what he showed me. So I have to protect my, like Ross Cohort says. But what I can tell you is that I have basically 100% certainty. I have seen a live gray. I've heard it talk. I've seen it in 4K.
Not while doing acid with Timothy Leary. No.
Forget Timothy. There's dead long time. Don't joke about this. This is I'm giving you
real
information.
Like you're under NDA and sources sort of thing.
Real information. This is important information. This changes everybody's conception of reality. Okay, I can tell you that the grays are real. I have seen classified military intelligence vetted from a guy who I know very well, okay? And the grays are real. These tall humanoids, kind of, scary bastards, they're real. And the orbs are real. So I know of those three for sure. I'm sure there are others. Okay, other people say others. I don't know about the Nordic. I'm just telling you what I know. I'm just saying what I have seen.
At least three. You're verifying.
Yes, so verifying three from. Let's put it this way: the probability that I've been lied to, it's about 1/100th of 1%. It can always be wrong, right? I can always be, but I have very high confidence, Bayesian statistical confidence, that what I'm telling is the truth and it's real. Okay. I also know that the U.S. Navy had at least one intact retrieved craft, and I know how they fly it. They fly it, but they don't understand how it works. They fly it because all these craft are alive. Igor, it's alive.
Conscious.
These are conscious artificial intelligence. Okay.
Are they type 3 cybernetics?
Wow.
But I've heard that the term cybernetics was, came out of these programs and stuff.
Well, that could be. Actually, that's an interesting thing because I was a graduate student at Brandeis in 1960 when Norbert Wiener at MIT, he's the one who coined the term cybernetics. So, and I was, one of my professors was an associate of Norbert Wiener's. So I don't know. But the point, it's what I'm saying, it's conscious artificial intelligence. You remember the CIA 50 years ago, it's in How the Hippies Save Physics, said, Jack, we want you to work on two problems. How does consciousness work? Physics, the physics, not the airy-fairy bullshit. Right. And how do flying saucers fly? 50 years ago. Okay.
And look how
so none of this stuff is new.
The time crystals and the microtubules and all that. And
that was before anybody knew about microtubules. So it's up in 1973, 1974, 1975. All right? And we didn't know. But now we know. Yeah, then all this stuff has happened. So,
okay, I got a question in regards to the 4K video of the gray, because it's there's rumors that they don't have souls, that they don't have empathy style of thing.
I don't know. I didn't talk to it. Who cares? Not important. Who cares? That's bullshit.
No, it's your feel for it. What sort of thing did it seem in this video? Did it have a personality? Can you describe it?
So Walter Bosley, right?
What?
Walter Bosley, right? We've interviewed Walter before. I know Bernie knows Walter Bosley, but Walter Bosley's dad worked for the Aero Med Lab at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base.
I don't know Walter Bosley.
Walter Bosley, former FBI, former Special Air Force investigator as well.
Right, so what does he say? What did he say?
Yes, he's OSI, and his father worked at the Aero Med Lab at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in the early 1950s, said that there's bodies there. He said he saw the bodies.
Yeah, well, of course there are bodies there, but I'm talking about a live one, not a dead one. I'm talking about a live one.
I know
live one.
That's crazy. You said you
right. So the live one, did it have a personality? I just like.
That's a stupid question. What are you asking me if it had a? I don't know. Do you have a personality? If you ask me,
because you're talking about AI, right? You're talking about artificial intelligence and like these alien things. It's like, do they have personalities? Are they AI? Like, what the F are they?
Look, hey, schmuck, listen to me. You go. I've said that. You go. I've said it many times. You go look at section 7 of that paper by Pavel Pilkin. I keep posting it all the time. You read that fucking paper and you learn something first before you ask a stupid question.
Okay.
It's this elementary shit.
That.
It's a solved problem. You guys are like, it's like on Planet of the Apes.
I found this before. What is this? Pavel Pilkin. I gotta find this and link to it.
I mean, I post it all the time. Just go on my web on x.com.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on Twitter right now and find it.
Yeah,
Jack Sarfatti on Twitter. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only, the legend himself, Jack Sarfatti, joining us.
You know, it's like you guys are like recruits at a Marine boot camp, and I'm the drill sergeant. Okay.
Yes, you are, sir.
Because if you don't listen to me, you know what? If you don't listen to me, like if you join the Marines, right? The drill sergeant abuses sort of verbal, does all this abuse, but that's designed so that you don't get killed on the fucking battlefield. You got to get trained, you know. In this case, you're not going to get physically killed, but you're going to be fooled by a bunch of idiots like Sal Pais and all these dumb schmucks leading up the garden path and just wasting your whole careers on bullshit.
It's a battlefield.
I mean, January, mixed martial or mixed mental arts, you and Sal. 2025.
No, listen, Sal was very polite, and then Sal got very. Oh, so what happened was, you know, there's this guy Jose Rodal. I told you about the, you know, very distinguished man, and Jose sent him a question. I think, you know, just polite, very polite, and about his theory, you know, saying in a polite way. You know, I don't. But I think Sal came on him like a Sicilian mafia guy and threatened his life. Basically, and the same. If you see what he wrote to me, he says, you know, he's basically his Italian temper came out. So
I'm Italian. Jeremy, myself, and Tim Ventura will have the 3 referees between you and Sal in 2025.
Listen, I don't want to be impolite to the guy. He's not mentally stable. There's no point upsetting the poor man.
Look,
it's not important.
I want to engineer a UFO. I don't want to conduct a circus.
What's that?
I want to engineer a UFO. I don't want to conduct a circus.
Exactly. It'll just be a circus. It'll be like what are the thing that you said, that the show where they all fight each other, you know, on the
yeah, we battle.
What was his name? I forget the guy. Yeah, the guy used to do that on the reality shows.
Jack, what's the secret with Antarctica? What's going on down there?
I don't know. You know who knows that shit? You ask John Warner IV. Don't ask me. John Warner IV is Chris Mellon's cousin. John Warner's grandfather was Paul Mellon, who was in the OSS with Wild Bill Donovan and General Patton. John's father was Senator John Warner, who was Secretary of the Navy. And John grew up with all this from his grandfather and his father, and knows all about Antarctica, knows all about that stuff. So don't ask me. I'm just a Jewish kid from New York, from Flatbush, and I don't know shit about that stuff. Okay.
And you support Trump because he's America's chance, especially together with Kennedy.
Okay, Trump, because Trump is an asshole like me. Trump and I were the same kind of New York City.
Right? He's a general schmuck, but he's a good schmuck.
He's a schmuck, but I mean, look, he's done a lot of things. Yeah, but the point is, Trump is a patriot. You know what? Trump was a billionaire. Trump didn't make his money by selling his political office like Joe Biden, like Nancy Pelosi, Dianne Feinstein, Obama. They all got rich.
Charisma.
The Clintons, they all got rich by selling their political office. Trump lost $2 or $3 billion. He didn't need any of this bullshit. Now, Trump is a bit of an asshole. I agree, but I'm an asshole too. We're the same kind of asshole from New York. We're all Robert De Niro's an asshole too, but it's on the other side. You know, we all, you know, the way we're like the Goodfellas, right? Okay, you know, we grew up in that whole era. We grew up in that whole era. In fact, I have a cousin who's in the Italian mafia in Las Vegas, stuff like that. So we grew up
here in Boston, we're a bunch of massholes. So
yeah, right.
Oh,
Massholes.
gee,
Yeah,
as you
massholes,
get.
right. All right. So the point is this. So, Trump, he may be a narcissist. He may have been, an asshole with women. In the old days, we all were. That was the culture. Okay. But Biden is just as bad. All these other guys, they're just as guilty of all these things, whatever they accuse Trump of. But the point is, Trump he showed his courage under fire. He just missed getting his head blown away like JFK right in front of him.
Now.
Huh?
Twice now.
They're going to keep doing it. He
right?
may not make it. If he gets elected, they're going to really try to kill him. Okay, and you know who's trying to kill him? It's the same. It's the CIA. It's John Brennan. It's all these guys, the guys who lied about the Hunter. It's clear who's trying to kill him, and they're using proxies. They're using the Iranians. God knows who they're using. They're using the Ukrainians. Who knows what? Okay, so we're living in very dangerous times. Okay, and Trump is not perfect. But he's a lot better than. And by the way, Kamala Harris grew up in my neighborhood. I know it since 1980. Kamala Harris. I know Willie Brown.
Can you confirm or deny her way to work in the power?
Okay, she's not very smart, and maybe her husband. Who knows? The point is this: Kamala is an empty skirt. She won't. She'll just be sort of like Joe Biden. And the thing is, who's controlling? Maybe it's her husband. Her Jewish husband, Hollywood lawyer, right? Maybe he's controlling her. Who the hell knows? She can't think. She doesn't understand things. Just look at her. She's basically inarticulate. She's clever in a way. She tripped up Trump because she's able to see Trump's egomania, narcissistic weak points. And I know because I'm an egomaniac narcissist myself, so I know. I don't deny it. Okay, but I have something to. Trump has a reason to be a narcissist. He's a great man. He built things. Look what he did. We have reasons to be assholes. We're assholes, but we know we're assholes, okay? And we're not saints. We don't claim to be saints. So the point is that that Trump, we would not have had the Ukraine war if Trump were president. We would not have had October 7th. That's all. None of that would have happened. We would have had no wars. And right now, we will be lucky if we survive if we don't have a nuclear war. Okay, so I remember the Cuban Missile Crisis. I was there. I was like 22 years old. Cuban Missile Crisis.
Like there's still a Russian nuclear submarine in Cuba right now with hypersonic nuclear missile planted right there. Right?
If Putin wanted to, he could nuke Washington very easily. In 10 minutes, 15 minutes, he could. There's submarines right off on the East Coast, Russian submarines. Okay, Putin doesn't want to do that. Putin doesn't want to destroy the world, but we're pushing him where he may have no choice but to destroy the world. Hopefully, it won't happen. Also, wait a minute. The other thing. I think it may very well be. I don't know this for sure. All these UFOs, the Tic Tacs, they may be Russian. They may be Russian, but from the few back they're time travel. Remember, they may be Russia's going to build them maybe 5-10 years from now. Ooh. Listen to this. This is the scenario. Now listen to this. I have reason to think this. I hope I'm wrong. I could be wrong. So if they're Russian, if they're really Russian, that means they've neutralized all the American nukes and all the British nukes and all the French and German nukes. About
why they're seen around nuke sites.
They were sitting on a bunch of duds.
Why they're seen around nuke sites as well, right?
What did you say?
Because aren't they always showing up around nuclear sites, American nuclear sites?
Yeah, we already know that, Bernie. But
so that would make sense then if it's a Russian thing, why it would be going for it, right? That's your case.
Okay, just listen now. I have a narrative here. I'm not saying that it make a good movie, a good science, and I'm not saying it's true. But I have reason to think it might be true. I'd say 50-50 because guess what? Because the Russians understand what I have been doing. They've been following it very closely for years. And they invited me to Moscow last summer. I didn't go, but they know I didn't have to go. They wanted me to come to Moscow State Physics Department. Quote, Jack, we'd like you to give your vision of UFO warp drive. Okay, I didn't go because and
do it over Zoom. Give it to them on Zoom.
No, but the Zoom didn't happen either. But because that was just when Peroshkin, whatever his name, the guy with the Wagner group, he started the mutiny. It was right around that time, early July, 2023. But they don't have to, because all my stuff is out there. I got almost 50,000 followers in different, So I publish everything every day. You'll see exactly what Jack saw. I'm like Trump. You know exactly what Trump is thinking. He tweets everything. It's like the Truman Show. I'm doing the same thing for the historical record. So whoever is smart enough. So that's why we have these dumb assholes.
It's bad though, Jack. Is
let me finish. We have Louis Elizondo, Chris Mellon, people like that, John Alexander, Eric Davis, put off, who are like gaslighting me. Meantime, the Russians are laughing and say, "Yeah, that's right." It's as though they're working for the Russians.
It's weird.
Our guys aren't doing it. Our guys.
It's weird because they've put a rift in the real physics, and they're pushing everyone towards Bob Lazar and all this bullshit. And
all this bullshit. And so what they're doing, they're working.
Disclosure is going to reveal everything for you. When it's like, no, the real physicists are working on this, and if you just reported on us and brought some real attention and disclosure to the scene, we might get somewhere with all this.
No, but you see, you don't need this. The point is this. It's already too late. You see, this is why I think. Because I've been involved with Russian physicists since the since the late 60s. When we were professors at San Diego State, the Charoletsky, the Russians, also in the early 70s, I was at the International Center of Theoretical Physics in Trieste. We were with the Soviets. They even went into the Soviet Union, and with the CIA and all that stuff. The CIA sent me on these missions. And also I helped formulate Reagan's Strategic Defense Initiative, and we were talking back channels with the Russians back then. And what's his name? Danny Sheehan, the lawyer. It was it's all that shit. So I've been involved in that. So the Russians have been monitoring my stuff for many years. Also, they videoed me. In 2014, they spent 3 hours, a film crew from St. Petersburg, Channel 5, filmed me on the stuff we're talking about, which I knew back then. Okay, so and I've been on Russian video. And I was told, this is important intelligence, I was told by the Russian guy interviewing me that Vladimir Putin was very interested in this stuff. Personally took an interest. I was told Vladimir Putin took a personal interest. So that's why I have some reason to think that all these things that are attacking the U.S. Navy bases and neutralizing, I think they are. My guess is, and I could be wrong, I say at least 50-50. My guess is they are Russian, Chinese, Iranian. Oh, yes, and the Iranians have been in touch with me from Tehran. They're very good physicists. They have a top Bohmian physics department at the University of Tehran. So they monitor my stuff. So the point is, here we have this guy, Frank Milburn, crazy guy, Chris Mellon, John Alexander, Eric Davis, bad-mouthing Jack Sarfatti. Don't listen to Jack Sarfatti. Listen to what we're telling you. And so the Russians are going, they're running with my stuff. So I think, and I could be wrong, if my stuff turns out to be the correct physics. And by the way, there's a crucial experiment that's being done. Very simple experiment that'll prove the concept, which I don't think we have. It's called the Cavendish experiment, a modified Cavendish experiment. If that experiment, what?
With the frozen water and the ice?
Yeah, they're melting the water. They're melting the ice into water and see how the thing, changes, how the thing, the angle changes, and from that, that'll prove it one way or the other. And so, but if that experiment were to check out, then it's a done deal. So you better start learning your Russian and your Chinese. And
I've been taught Russian since a child. Sadly, though, I got also taught French and got it confused. So it's like, shit, I got to listen.
All right,
to
so the point is this. So the point is this. See, in terms of that, okay, the point is this. I think probably these UFOs that are harassing the U.S. Navy, I would guess, my prediction is that they are Russian, because Hal Puthoff, Eric Davis, Colonel John Alexander, Chris Mellon, all these people have wasted everybody's time with bogus physics, when they weren't working on the right stuff. And the Russians have been working on my stuff for years.
Well, they might have wasted the Russians' time too, because it looks like they're looking into some of the similar stuff to what Pays has been talking about.
I don't see that. But I no evidence for that. What's your evidence for? Why are you
Do you
saying
think that? No, you don't think the Russians have been trying to dig into the Pays effect at all?
Of course not, because the Pays is so
okay,
stupid.
I actually have to interject because you brought up the Iranians. Do you know of Mehran Keshi? He's supposedly a second generation nuclear physicist from there. But I bring him up specifically because he claims Sal Pius to be a fraud that like stole something of his.
Well, they're smart. They're not stupid. I haven't met a stupid Russian physicist or Iranian physicist or a Chinese. None of them I've met are as stupid as Sal Pius and Jim Woodward and Hal Puthoff when it comes to gravity. They're much better. They're smarter. So they're going to win. They've won. They've already won. We've lost. America's finished in this one. Do you realize, you know what BRICS is? You know what they're right now, because of our stupid sanctions, we've destroyed ourselves. America has destroyed itself. Even Trump to some extent. Trump's not totally innocent of this, because he was fooled. Trump, he
with
have
the China trade wars, tariffs, and whatnot.
The trade, yeah. No, it's not what they're doing now. Because because we took the Russian money, stole the Russian money and give Zelensky, who's a crook, who they're all crooks there, and they're
so now they took J.P. Morgan money and they're taking all the accounts of like BlackRock in Russia, freezing everything American in Russia.
So the point is, because of that, most of the world, except for a few countries in Europe and England and Canada and Australia and America, they're all leaving. They don't trust the SWIFT. They don't trust the American banks anymore because, look, they stole the Russian money. That means they can steal our money. So they're all going to Brooks. What's going to happen? Maybe if Kamala gets in next year, we're going to, assuming we don't have a nuclear war, if we survive not have a nuclear war, you're all going to be broke. Not even going to have an internet.
But because BRICS, right? It was Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. And now it's 42 members going in, and they're talking about creating their own currency now. That's what they're establishing this year.
But it's also Mexico. Even Mexico wants to do it. Mexico.
This is the new world order.
It's Brazil. It's Saudi Arabia. United
Saudi Arabia, the petrodollar right there going in on it.
We're going to lose plus we're in like almost $40 trillion. We're running on empty. I mean, and plus look at our cities flooded with these illegal aliens and the crime. And it's like we're already a fourth world country.
The globalists.
Yeah. So the point is, we're a paper tiger.
Seal the borders.
And I'm sad to say, and the Biden idiots, and Kamala is just going to make it worse very quickly. As bad as Biden is, I mean, she was there.
The borders are right now. She's in power right now. It's like it's not going to get any better.
So the point is this. The point is this. I think the Russians and the Chinese have already won. We're just the walking dead. We're the walking dead. We don't realize we're walking dead.
Zombie nation.
We're zombie disease.
Half of them on painkillers, right?
No, we're Zelensky nation.
Z Nation.
Z Nation.
And it's the Central Incompetent Agency. I mean, it's so bad. And by the way, and I know why it happened. I don't want to go, there's this guy, Yuri Bezmenov, who was a KGB defector 40 years ago. He predicted.
Do go into this for a minute because that is huge. Like, that's huge.
Yeah, it's huge. So guys, we're in okay, listen. The Soviet Union collapsed in 1989, right? America, we're similar to, this is our 1989 collapse of the American hegemony, American empire. The British Empire collapsed, already because of world wars, okay?
Yuri.
We're in the end of American, we're not a strong country anymore. First of all, we're almost on the brink of civil war, right? Look at even me and Eric Davis ready to kill each other. Eric Davis is talking about assassinating me. He said they shot this guy in Moscow and they're coming for you and Ron Pandolfi. So people are crazy. People are really crazy. There's no possibility of a united a house divided cannot stand. Abraham Lincoln, right? Did you see this movie, the Civil War movie? Have you seen that? It's not that good, but because they have do you see the movie? There's a movie now called Civil War about America. What happens? You don't know? You haven't seen that movie?
No, I haven't seen that one yet. I've
It's
seen
not
this.
that good.
I'm familiar with the Yuri Bezmenov interview. Everyone should watch that.
Yeah. So that's I lived through it. I was a fucking little commie myself. I grew up with all the Communist Party and it's amazing that I was a neocon. I worked with the fucking neocons with Reagan. I was involved in a neocon think tank. Yeah, I could have been Tony Blinken and all these, and Tony Stan, Kathy Newland, and all these. I know these people.
This looks like the Obama movie.
Huh? Yeah. Yes. So, but that's So we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, hopefully it won't be as bad as I think it will be, and I hope to be proved wrong. But I don't see much of a future for the United States unless Trump gets in. And even if Trump gets in, he fucked up the first time, didn't listen to my friend Michael Savage, who was telling him, don't hire some of these people. John Bolton, my friend Michael Savage, who knows Trump very well, said, don't hire the walrus, don't hire other guys who just stabbed Trump in the back. And if he does it a second time, I don't know. But, let's put it this way. If Kamala gets in, we're gone. There won't be an America by 2028. There won't be another. If Kamala gets in, the Russian flag is going to fly over the White House in 2028. If we don't have a nuclear war, if we're still alive, that's going to happen. If Trump gets in, there's a chance he may snatch victory from the jaws of our current defeat. But even though I'm not sure he'll do it because he may not have learned. I don't know.
Oh, they're going to assassinate him.
And plus they're going to try to assassinate him. Yeah. So
they've already tried.
So we're not living in and when the Democrats talk about saving democracy, they're the ones who have destroyed democracy. They're trying. They want to put me in jail now, maybe for everything I'm talking about now. They've destroyed the First Amendment. They're calling it disinformation, misinformation. Even they've done it. They tried to destroy Robert Kennedy Jr. Right. So
Absolutely.
we're living in an Orwellian. What we're living in now, America today, is a combination of George Orwell's 1984 and Brave New World, Aldous Huxley's Brave New World. We're in that superposition, like a Schrodinger cat state, quantum mechanics. We're in the superposition, those two things. And if Kamala and Waltz, if they get in, they're going to clamp down. Everything they're saying that they're afraid Trump is going to do, that they're talking about, they're projecting, that's what they're going to do to us. So there it is.
Yeah,
that's good.
We have the technology now. I don't think we didn't have the technology for it to happen back then. But
now we have, with the social networks, fake book is, and the only
drones, the surveillance cameras,
the surveillance, but also the only hero here is Elon Musk. Elon Musk's physics is stupid, his rockets are stupid, but X.com is good. That's the only free form there is right now. Maybe Patreon.
I don't know about that because I have a question about you'd mentioned this Pavel Pilkin fellow on X, and I'm gone through your whole feed now on X, and I can't find a post about him, and I'm struggling.
What are you talking about? I post it all the time. It's there.
Can you post it again and pin it to the top?
No, just the brain as a quantum measuring device. Just Google the brain as a quantum measuring device. I send it all the time. It's almost I did it at least 3 times today. Section 7.
They must be hiding it. I don't know.
No. Just go on Google. He's a Finnish name. I can't spell his name. Just put Paavo.
I remember we talked about him before.
Paavo. 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 And then the brain as a quantum measuring device. It'll pop right up.
PAA. It's 2 A's.
Yes, 2 A's.
I tried 1 V and 2 V.
No. 2 A's and 1 V. Paavo. And it's Pilkin with PYL or something like that.
Yeah, this is it right here, guys. I also brought my friend in
Section 7. Section 7. Go to Section.
Matt, I don't know if your mic's working.
Section 7. First, you should read the entire paper, but study Section 7 is the Jack Sarfatti theory, and that explains the whole high strangeness of UFOs explains everything. Not the propulsion. The propulsion is something else, but it explains conscious artificial intelligence. It explains the grays. The grays are probably conscious. I think they're androids. They could be hybrids, some partly organic, a mixture of organic, probably hybrids. And they're probably just like the working robots for maybe the Nordics or some of these other ones that people talk about.
It's the macro quantum coherence.
That's it, man. That's all you need. That's what gives mass to the photon and the graviton.
Yeah.
That's it. So all this stuff is standard physics. I didn't have to invent the new physics, really. It was all there. It was all standard. It was there. So that people don't understand regular physics well enough. And so they made something simple complicated. So there we are. Okay. Any other questions?
I'm trying to get my friend Matthew in because I'm sure I don't know if his mic is working, but
can you hear me?
He has.
Jeremy, can you hear me at all? Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
Jack.
Just wanted to make sure.
We can all hear you. Do you have any questions for Jack?
No, I'm just listening right now, and just keep going, and then I'll jump in.
Well, I'm not sure how much Jack.
Specifically, while I was outside having a smoke, I heard you talk about how you're thinking like the Greys were like partially AI and stuff. That's why I was asking about their personality in the video you saw earlier.
I only saw a very short, 2 or 3 minute video of the Grey. His ship, the Grey ship, had crashed, and the military were out. A retrieval unit was out looking for what had happened, and you see this thing behind a bush. It's looking at it, and you zoom in, and it's a Grey. I think it's somewhat hurt. Yeah, look, a little cute, and almost like that. And then the army guy, it's like a horse whisperer. It's okay, come out. Like he's a very, he coaxes it out. And I think it was a little hurt. It was probably in a crash. It's somewhat damaged. And he gives it, talks to it, and it talks a little because it's tiny. It's a small. It sounds like a child, right? Because it's like a 10-year-old child inside. So it has a small voice box, but they mainly communicate telepathically. But it was like talking, like well, I can tell you this. Guess what it sounds like? Just let me. No, it doesn't sound like that. No. It sounds like, no, it sounds like, stop it, turn off that down. It sounds like the whales and the dolphins.
Really? Like a sonar sort of thing?
It's musical. It's like a musical.
Okay, I stopped myself from talking because I wanted you to finish. But when you watched the video, did you almost feel like a telekinetic, like, link into it sort of thing? Or
no, I didn't. No. I didn't. It was too short. I didn't. But the point is, I know from other things that that's how they communicate. They communicate mainly by telepathy. So whenever you hear people talking about that, that's all true, because I have that separate information on that. So and I think so they put the thing in like an ambulance and took it to the hospital. This happened, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years ago.
The sonar thing is wild, like musically, like
it's like the way I thought. Where I've heard this before. It's like John Lilly talking to the dolphins. Okay, that kind of thing.
Oh, and the dolphins talking to the ETs all along here.
Could be.
And under the ocean, huh?
Yes.
Hiding that would be hiding their conversations if they're communicating like that, eh?
All right, let me talk now. The good point. All the stuff that Tim Godlet, whatever, the guy works with Gary Nolan at Solvang, the Admiral, the oceanographer guy. Well, it's all true. Everything he says is the case. And I know a lot more. I know maybe as much as he, but I can't say the details because they would give away, they might identify, my source, and I got to be very careful. And also I could tell you some
integrity.
Yeah, like Ross Cohen says, he has to protect his source. Okay, so until my source wants to go public, but all I can tell you is that yes, a lot of the activity is under the water. The transmitting, that's all true, It's all true. And what else can I say? Oh, also, you know about the Philadelphia experiment? You know, the
Please go
teleportation.
Name Eldridge, USS Eldridge, and
Yeah.
Philadelphia Naval Yard.
Yeah, yeah. Now I'm not going to say. Yeah, I could tell you, but stuff like that.
Carl Allen.
Stuff like, you know why? Because there's this guy, there's a physicist in Christchurch, New Zealand called Matt Visser. He's a famous guy. And he published a paper recently called Tractor Pressor Stressor Beams. And he even has a picture of a UFO, shooting the beam.
Yeah, that's the tractor beam paper. I was telling Ashton about.
Yeah.
Like, Matt,
So, but what he doesn't have what he says it's just theoretical because the inverse of the superforce is so weak that we can't do anything. But you see, but in fact I happen to know that technology. I can't say more detail. That technology is operational. The NHI have it, and with a tractor beam, they can lift up a destroyer, a Navy destroyer. They can lift it up in the tractor beam and move it over in about 10 minutes, 400 kilometers, and put it back down.
How much energy do they need to generate that?
That's
Well,
like
it's more. That's the point. Get this now. Get this through your thick skulls.
That's why I'm asking.
Small amounts of energy. I don't know exactly, but small. So as soon as you hear an idiot like Sarfatti say you need all this millions of gigawatts, that's bullshit. Because these things are not, they're flying around with hardly any energy. That's why you don't see, they're not burning up the atmosphere. So that's the whole trick. It's small amounts of energy. That's the Sarfatti discovery. Small amounts of energy. And the only, when I say
Some
discovery,
alien scientist fan favorites asking you to rant about Bob Lazar next, please.
Yeah, Bob. Okay, Bob Lazar again. Bob Lazar's physics is crap. It's as bad as Woodward. It's as bad as Sal Payez. It's as bad as Hal Puthoff and Eric Davis. But what he says, what he saw, is probably true. I don't think he's lying about that. Sal Payez, Lazar, he's like a high school technician, or he's like an AA degree. He doesn't have a high level degree. He didn't go to Cornell and study with Hans Bethe and the people who built the atomic bomb. So he was, Bob Lazar is what's called a useful idiot. He's part of a deception operation. They hire him into Area 50. They show him, then they give him bullshit about Element 115 to throw off real physicists like me when they hear this, say, this guy's an asshole, he's lying. So that was all part of
unobtainium, that mystical element that you will never attain because it doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. But what he says about what he saw, I believe that because I have independent corroboration from other people who have been in there, who are telling me.
The hand
I know even more. I
know.
I've been told. Wait, just listen. Just shut up a minute. Just let me finish my sentences here. It's just noise. I have several witnesses. Military intelligence guys, whistleblowers, who have come to me and telling me stuff which I can't go into details. What they saw in Area 51 underground. What they saw. That is even much more than Bob Lazar has ever said. So again, it's 50-50, okay? We got to separate what these guys report, what Bob Lazar says he saw, what David Grush says he was told. Who else are we talking about? Elizondo, even what Elizondo says in his books, what he says about these things, that's all true. It's only when they talk about when they're trying to explain it, and they gaslight me and they don't listen to what I'm trying to explain to them. So they're giving the Russians the edge. They're so stupid. They don't like their Russian folks, but they're helping.
They've gaslit all of us, and they take all the disinfo and they put it on Joe Rogan.
So what they're doing
in the limelight.
Now, I'm just giving them the benefit of the doubt. I don't think Christopher Mellon is a knowing agent for Vladimir Putin. I don't think he is. I think he's just stupid. His cousin, John Warner IV, says he's just stupid.
Kind of throw the public off while they're working on it in private, and also
no, they're not, because they don't know anything. They're too stupid. Listen, I knew Fine, I knew Wheeler, I knew these guys. Okay, if there was anything, I know Kip Thorne. I was at his house many times. Okay, if they really were working on it, because I used to talk about UFOs to them, they couldn't keep it that secret for so long. Okay, they don't. They can't keep that kind of secret among these top guys. Things leak out. I mean, okay, one of the guys, my professors at UCSD was the head of the Jasons, Keith Bruckner, Herbert York. I know all these guys at UCSD in La Jolla in the 60s. I would have been written into it. I mean, I come from those cadres. You understand?
You're literally the pillar of history that verifies, and that's.
I mean, look, Eric Davis was an Air Force. He learned he had a low level technical education in the Air Force or the Army, something like that. And then he he finally got his PhD at the University of Arizona. Not a bad place. Okay, but he didn't study with Hans Bethe. He didn't study with Richard Feynman. He didn't study with Werner Heisenberg in Munich, the Max Planck Institute. Yeah,
right.
He didn't get the kind of thing that I got, okay? And also, he doesn't have my creativity. I mean, it's just, he never did anything. I mean, So in any case, so what these guys have done, they've given the Russians a head start. And that's why it's my opinion, I could be wrong, it's my opinion that all these things we're seeing, this advanced technology, is Russian, Chinese, Iranian technology from the future, not that far in the future. And I think they've probably neutralized all our nuclear weapons.
If
so we don't have any.
I still don't
be wrong. Of course, I could be wrong.
So Iran once there's the video of right in the center street, right in front of the Mossad headquarters, these hypersonic missile that struck right in front. There's this big crater.
But that's true. But so what does this have to do with what I just said?
It's just.
I mean, it's it's important. I mean, I agree, but it's not quite what I was talking about. What I'm trying to get to you is that the reality of the situation may well be, at least it's 50-50 in my opinion, that the United States, NATO does not have a nuclear deterrent anymore. None of those nukes are going to work.
But that's what I mean. Like, if Iran had a nuke, they could have just nuked the headquarters, right? Like, if they wanted to.
You don't understand. Iran doesn't.
You think the UFOs have disabled most of their nukes?
Yeah. But also, let me address what he just said. Iran is not the devils that we say they are, okay? Iran is not the devils, okay? The Iranians do not want to destroy Tel Aviv with a nuke. You know why? Because if they did, they would also be killing a lot of Arabs in Egypt and in Jordan and in Palestine, because you can't, the nuclear, the fallout, all that stuff. They don't want to do anything like that. They're not crazy. Our guys are crazy. Tony Blinken's crazy. Lloyd Austin, I think, is holding back. We have a senile president. Kamala is so stupid. She doesn't know she doesn't know a nuke from a schmook. We don't have anybody in charge who's competent, except maybe now Lloyd Austin.
Like, literally, Biden was ruled incompetent, too old to be held.
So the point is this. The only serious people out there who are preventing nuclear war is Vladimir Putin, the Iranians. I hate to say this, but we are the bad guys. We're the idiots. We're the aggressors, not them. We've been sold a bunch of bullshit for years. I believed it for a while. I was a neocon. I was like Tony Blinken for many years in the 80s. So I did a little research, okay? So I'm just going on the basis of the truth. As a scientist, I have respect for real knowledge, not ideology, not bullshit, not brainwashing, okay? So the point is, we've lost, and
Do you don't think we can pull together and work our way out?
I don't see any possibility of that, and I hope to be proved wrong.
I hope you're proven wrong too, because damn.
But bless you for speaking truth,
but in terms of betting, I bet the betting people in Las Vegas, I'm sure the smart bookies agree with me. Then they're not stupid.
I watched the whole thing on Concrete today with the guy from DARPA. I still got to watch. I only got like halfway through it, but
what guy? Who's the guy from DARPA? Who's that?
Oh, this guy was on Danny Jones concrete. Let me just. I'll bring it up real quick. Here.
What did he say? What does he say?
His name is. But he was talking about he's been involved with he did a whole bunch of research for DARPA on all this stuff with
what stuff?
He's talking about the PB the SP. Oh man, I don't know all this.
What? I know you're not making any sense. What's his basic bottom line? What is he saying?
The basic bottom line, he was saying stuff about blue light technology. So they took out all they make everything blue light, and that blue light they're using blue light.
Even in my city, mysteriously, all of the traffic lights are now like blue LED lights. There's
Now what is okay? Just wait. Is he saying something about mind control? Is that what he's talking about?
He's saying it's connected to the MK Ultra Pro. You talked to all, but he knows a ton of
maybe so. Okay, I don't know. Maybe so. Sure. That doesn't. I mean, I understand. That's what Section 7. In that paper,
they're subduing us, right? Isn't blue calming where red's aggravating, blue's calming?
Yeah,
so
maybe so. Maybe so. And that's not my field. For that, you talk to Gary Nolan.
He says
who knows that? You talk.
I would love to ask Gary about all.
Even Gary Nolan's an asshole, but he knows his shit about that stuff. He doesn't know physics from physics, to come what I'm talking about, but he knows about the brain and all that.
They
Gary Nolan.
Incandescent bulbs and replaced them all with the LEDs. They said it was for energy concerns and all this stuff.
Well, who knows? I don't know. That's not my. I don't have.
I know it's some wild stuff, but what he's saying about the quantum biology and some of the stuff. He was talking about the microtubules and
okay. Well, that I know something about that. I mean, Hameroff is basically correct. I'm using Hameroff stuff, not the physics, but not the Penrose. I mean, what Penrose says is kind of okay. It's like what Penrose is saying is a incomplete version of what I have is better and more detailed. But it's it includes the Penrose thing as a limiting case, is kind of an effective field theory. I mean, what Penrose's intuition is right. Basically, he's saying you need this orchestrated reduction because right now, in ordinary quantum measurement theory, everything is random, uncontrollable. And if it's uncontrollable, it means you can't use it, entanglement, you can't do telepathy, you can't do psychokinesis, you can't do any of this high stranger stuff that we know people are able to do.
Welcome, Michael Brown.
Hey, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Hey, Jack.
Hey, Michael.
All right, Michael. I don't know what you missed. There's some people just tuning in, so let's do a recap of the last hour and a half.
Why don't you do a little recap? I'm gonna take a
perfect
piss.
Perfect timing. No worries, Jack. So Jack had posted this paper from Richard Feynman and wrote to Ken Shoulders in January 31st, 1986. This is super interesting. Basically apologizes, saying he's wrong about this. I guess Jack said that he worked with Ken Shoulders on this later during the 90s.
So that's the EBO stuff, basically,
that's
right?
The EBO stuff, yeah.
Nice.
So Feynman knew about the EBO stuff, and I guess he rebuffed it at first, but then figured out that it's actually legit and apologized to Ken Shoulders about it in this letter. So this is
nice.
Historic. This is historic that this was dug up and found. And so that was cool. What else? He also thinks that Pays, Ashton, and Dave are full of crap, that they don't know what they're talking about and stuff. He said, and I'm curious to dig more into that.
I want mixed mental arts. We got to get Tim Ventura and we got to get a scientific debate between Sal.
Bernie, just a sec, quick before Jack gets back. I think they're competing for. Oh, never mind.
Well, they're both competing for space.
I'll just say it anyway.
Together.
I think Sal and Jack were on to a lot of the same
mixed mental arts.
Sal's in the engineering side more, perhaps, but they worked on a lot of the same stuff. I think they're just competing for the history books and who gets recognized for it.
Well, I'm already in the history.
Jack is definitely more right. So
Fair.
He's on the. Jack's got the math. I'm sorry. I'm with Jack on this. Sal
All
is.
right.
you
Yeah,
know,
no,
a
I
little
mean,
off basis.
I don't know. I think they have clearly both worked on stuff to the best of my knowledge. I'm not going to get involved in the conflict there. I'm just going to sit by the side and watch.
Who are you talking about? Who's they?
Oh, I mean, yeah, you. So, like, your opinion on Sal Pace and that whole group.
Yeah. Okay, so listen, Sal, I'm sure, has done some decent engineering work in the past. He has a PhD in engineering. His specialty does not make him qualified to talk about warp drive and general relativity. He clearly doesn't understand that. When he talks about the superforce, what he's saying is so very stupid. He doesn't.
Well, it's just the Planck force at the end of the day that he's talking about.
No,
right?
there's not even a force. Not a force. It's a force. First of all, it has the dimensions of reciprocal force. It has the coupling constant, Einstein's field equation that couples, say, electromagnetism to gravity. It's 10 to the minus 43 reciprocal newtons in MKS SI units, okay? So the inverse of that, the superforce, you want to call it the superforce, is 10 to the 43 newtons, okay? That's the stiffness of space-time. That means warp drive is impossible. That if that were the case, that would mean time travel is impossible because it means you cannot manipulate gravity with small amounts of energy. That's what that means. Does Sal ever say that he can make that super force weak? Does he ever say that?
Well,
you heard him say that because that's
well,
the Sarfatti theory. That's
I mean, the way I'm looking at it, like what the things he's saying are.
But he's saying
analogous.
There's nothing there. You read it; it's word salad. There's nothing here.
Well, he's not using the formal physical terminology, but there's intuition there.
No, he's full of shit.
The math isn't mathing.
Okay, Michael,
I have to term this term to Jack the intuitive genius, right? And a lot can relate to that.
Yeah. Who's an intuitive genius?
You were the first one that I heard state that. And I was like, I love that term.
Yes, I'm an intuitive genius who knows how to use the theory, the tools of the trade. I got a PhD.
Exactly.
Because I could at least use the tools of the trade. I don't make up stupid things out of the blue. That's not science. That's insane. That's pseudoscience. That's what Feynman called cargo code science. What I'm doing is upholding the standards of excellence that I got from Hans Bethe, from Richard Feynman, from John Wheeler, people like that, Keith Bruckner, Werner Heisenberg, John Wheeler. That's what I'm talking. That's the level.
Absolute pillars. Absolute pillars.
That's the level. And these schmucks are destroying the language. They are degrading real knowledge for bullshit.
Well, I mean, I do agree they used a lot of terminology that's
it's bullshit.
Not well defined.
So the point is, you are doing a disservice to yourself and to everybody else by giving these assholes the attention. They don't deserve this attention. There's nothing there.
I'm for the record, Jack. Ashton gets like 800 likes, he gets like 7 times the likes.
He's discussing the science, though.
I have nothing to do with that. I try to discuss the science, and he gets
your shadow band is shit, though. Like it's
shadow band, but
it's like I don't think it's
he'll get 23K.
I know it's
views
insane.
on stuff. He got on Candace.
I literally had my Facebook account blocked because I had AlienScientist.com attached in the description a few times.
Wow.
Like that's how shadow banned you are. Like, honest to God.
Oh, Jack. Is he coming back?
He's there.
No, he's just getting the light.
Turn his light on. He's in the dark there, so he's
I'm curious to hear what he makes of Ed Witten's dad working on the gravity research back in the day. Around the same time. The Chapel Hill conference.
The point is this: Witten.
Forget about Sal Pais. It's bullshit. Forget about Jim Woodward. It's bullshit. Forget about Hal Puthoff, gravity. It's bullshit. Who else is around? Who else? What are the other idiots?
Bismuth and magnesium layered 1D metamaterials aren't the key to, terahertz levitation.
Well, that's what I said in 2011. They all stole that from me. I'm the first guy to talk about metamaterials and UFOs and warp drive. In 2011, at a DARPA conference, invited talk. They all got that from me.
Well, it's just like the thing that confuses me, I guess, in this is that you talk about these Froelich condensates, which are where'd everyone go? Oh, is this
all right? I want to bring something up because he said this book's from 2009, Jack.
Yeah,
and it has the bismuth layered metamaterial in it. He talks about.
So and what does it say about it?
Paul Laviolette.
So, all right, but what does he
talks
say?
about the arts parts and stuff.
But what does he talk about? That's UFO drive and warp drive. Does he say that there?
He mentions the 2005 Podolsky, paper on the, the terror.
There is no 2005 Podolsky paper. That's bullshit. There's no such thing. You don't know what you're talking about. What Podolsky? Podolsky died in the 1950s or so. He was dead then.
Might have been the wrong name.
Victor Podolsky, and with that terahertz perspectives and left-handed metamaterials.
So what? What about it?
That's all. I mean, that was all stuff that Puthoff brought up in 2018, but Paul Laviolette somehow knew about it in 2009.
Does he say that that's going to weaken the stiffness of space-time in the Einstein field equation?
No, I'm just saying it's 2008.
So what?
2011.
No, listen, you're not thinking. There's no logic to what you just said. There's no connection. You're not connecting the dots.
Okay.
So people know about
connect them for me, please.
You don't understand what you're talking about, Jeremy. Yes, people knew about metamaterials for 30 years, but they didn't
talk about the arts parts and the bismuth magnesium layers.
And what about it?
So both things use Jeremy. Both things use bismuth magnesium, but the thing here is that what is the specific interaction that causes the larger cross section with gravity and
Does he talk about?
No.
So that doesn't mention any of that. That's what Jack's saying here.
So you have to think precisely, man.
So bismuth magnesium was there then and is there now, but
what?
It doesn't discuss the mechanism. You're not going to get anywhere from it.
So what?
It's not actionable.
Yeah, and even when Hal Puthoff and Eric Davis they bring it up, they don't connect it with anything. They just say it's there.
Yeah.
They don't do anything.
Not actionable.
There's no narrative. There's no coherent.
Yeah, it's cargo cult physics, like you were saying. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cargo cult physics.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, and they don't understand that, and the fact they won't see. The point is this: it's okay to be stupid. I've been very stupid many times as young, made all kinds of mistakes and stupid things. But then when you get real information, the sign of a real scientist and a smart person is, when you say, oh, I made a mistake. You adapt to new information. And they don't do that. See, they're like religious. Their
egos
are
ideologues. Being right. Yeah, they want to be.
Well, I don't know. I mean, they may have been engineers who worked on all this stuff in the programs, and the other possibility is they're not allowed to talk about some of the terminology.
No. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. No, the engineers generally don't know. The engineers are very good at certain things, but they don't understand theoretical physics. And I don't understand engineering. I couldn't be an engineer. There is knowledge there's a lot of knowledge. Not everybody can master everything. Specialties. Okay.
But what about people that are engineering stuff that's outside of mainstream physics?
No. Okay. No. But there is no. The point is. Okay. Let me get this. Say, everything that people are interested in, it's elementary mainstream physics. You don't need new physics. That's bullshit. Anybody who says that is either stupid or they're lying.
What about the extended electrodynamics stuff?
What?
Yeah,
what
extended electrodynamics.
Yeah, what about all the stuff with extended electrodynamics models?
What is extended what is that?
The idea is like
engineering, essentially.
So like in electrodynamics, typically we have gauge fixing. So there's some gauge freedoms which are restricted. and assumed not to have any
Are
physical.
you talking about Giovanni Monesi, about his stuff? Giovanni
I think
Monesi?
it may be related to that.
But about breaking gauge invariance, the non-local electrodynamics. Yeah, yeah, that's true.
I'm gonna have to read that.
But it's not new physics. It's just applying known physics. That's not new physics.
Well, so they I mean, David Chester and I were inspecting like these the Whittaker potentials and these Hertz potentials.
Yeah, okay. You know what? David Chester's a smart guy, but he knows a lot of math. His intuition's not all that good. Okay, maybe I have no need for Whittaker potentials. Maybe, okay, but he hasn't shown anything. There's nothing that'll test what he's talking.
Well, I mean, so we're getting to.
I don't need
that actually.
All I need is elementary. Just listen. All I need is elementary standard Maxwell equations. But what is needed, you have to include the dispersion inside the material, dispersion, and that makes the electrodynamics non-local in space-time. Okay. Okay. It's dispersion. Okay. And that's a tricky problem. I don't claim I understand everything how to do it because I'm not a condensed matter physicist, but there are other people who do it, who do know it. And I'm beginning now starting to use artificial intelligence to design the metamaterials.
Okay.
See how good, I don't know if it'll work because I'm, so, but it's all standard physics. There's no new principles that are needed. See, it's not the fundamental laws we have are pretty elementary, and that's why there are all these different groups of extraterrestrials, time travelers, because almost any civilization that reaches relative Einstein level and basic quantum mechanical level will discover the technology because it is pretty simple.
Do you think that they've derailed physics? Like Eric Weinstein suggests, that they derailed physics on purpose.
Okay. There, I think Eric is a little paranoid, and he's a little. I don't think that's because you know why? Because I knew a lot of these people he talks about. I knew them. They were my professors. He listened to them talk in the lunchrooms at the teas. Okay. I used to have cookies and tea with Werner Heisenberg in Munich at the Max Planck Institute and John Wheeler and Norman Rostocker. I mean,
do you think that these other groups like Sal Pays and that have teamed up with this MH370 group?
No, it's bullshit. They're a bunch of.
So Jeremy, before we even get to MH370, I want to add to Jack's thing. I agree. I think the most likely scenario is that Western society has painted itself into a corner with respect to like the sociology around how we do science these days, and because people need to go for grants and they don't have as much. And that part is what I agree with Eric about. Like, it doesn't need to be a conspiracy. It's just like the way things evolved. Researchers used to have a lot more available money and funding, and there wasn't so much competition.
A lot of what Eric says about that is true. The sociology is true. That's true. But I don't think there's any great. I don't think there's a secret space navy or any of that stuff. Unless they're from time travel, they could be.
Yeah,
in the future, that could.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe the base on Mars was made from people from our future.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows? And then
don't say who knows. I know. It's not speculation anymore, as far as I'm concerned. But I have all kinds of good reasons to think that. And I'm not the only one who says it. I'm not alone. Yeah, Michael Masters, people like him, he's a smart guy. And he came to the same conclusion through a different discipline. But, All right, so there we are. So that's it. So the point is that this whole crew, Elizondo, Eric Davis, Hal Puthoff, Colonel John Alexander, Frank Milburn, who else? Chris Mellon, even Gary Nolan, Sean Kirkpatrick, Avi Loeb, they all, some of them, I'm not saying that they're all bad, but they're basically misinforming the public and probably fooling themselves. I don't think they're bad guys. I don't think they're doing it deliberately. Maybe some of them are. I'm not sure about Colonel Alexander. He's pretty evil. But so, and anybody who listens to them, you're wasting your time. and you're ignoring the real physics, which is pretty elementary. Is you just go back and just study what I'm talking about. I give plenty of references and try to learn what the hell I'm talking about. Like start reading Pavel Pilkin's paper and start asking questions about the Bohmian theory, and then stop wasting your time. I don't think anything any of you doing in the laboratory is going to come to anything because you don't have.
Well, the Bohmian theory. What about the Aronoff-Bohm effect? Could we talk about that a little bit, maybe?
Well, let's before we even get to that.
It's not the Aronoff-Bohm effect. What you should do is actually ask Hal Puthoff to explain, if he has anything real there, if he's not bullshitting, to explain how he's going to use the Aronoff-Bohm effect for untappable, unjammable submarine communications. Okay, he claims to have that. Now I'm not saying. I don't know. Okay, I studied with Bohm. The Aronoff-Bohm effect is real. It's real, and it does have applications. It's important, but I don't see exactly how to apply to what we're talking about.
So before we get into all of that, Jeremy,
that's not the Bohmian physics I'm talking about
Bohmian mechanics. Yeah.
The Bohmian mechanics, yes.
Yeah. That's a pilot wave theory and things like that. So Jeremy, let me chat with Jack here a minute. So where I get confused on with Sal's stuff relative to your stuff is like he talks about.
Do you realize it's an insult? Wait, do you realize it's an insult for you to use his name and my name stuff in the same sentence? It's an insult.
That's okay. Okay.
Because there's no comparison.
Trying to get to a point here. I'm trying to get to. Okay, I'll be embarrassed then. But I've done many things in my life that I look back on and cringe about. This is just one more. Anyway, he talks about like vibrating particles.
It's bullshit.
With terahertz.
Those people talk about vibrating. That's bullshit. Bullshit. You don't need vibrating particles for anything. You don't have to talk that way.
What I'm trying to do, I'm trying to show how the terminology is different, but the concepts map to stuff you're working on, though.
Yeah, how? Go ahead.
So he's talking about vibrating particles with terahertz, such that the actual mass energy of the particle is kind of approaching the Schwinger limit in a way
that's all stupid. That's total crap. And if you think there's you don't know anything if you think that. You know why? You know what you just did? Just listen to this a minute. How much energy how much mass was converted to energy in the 10,000-ton nuclear explosion of Fat Boy in Hiroshima? How much mass?
Lot. And the Schwinger limit's very high. I understand.
No, it has nothing to do with the fucking Schwinger limit.
Okay.
There's no connection. You don't understand what the fuck you're talking about. You don't know elementary physics. I'm sorry, Michael. You don't know. Where did you study physics? What did you study? Did you study what the Schwinger limit has to do with intense electromagnetic? What does that have to do with what I just said? Nothing.
So, if you have these phonons.
No, listen. Wait a minute. You're not you don't even understand E equals MC squared. That
Moss power coupling. That's where
you're not listening. You don't hear what I'm talking about. Just listen. You're making Morse power coupling. What the fuck? Who ordered that? Irrelevant. I'm talking about a simple equation. E equals MC squared. Okay?
Mass energy, yeah.
Yeah, okay. The mass equivalent of energy. That's special relativity, 1905, Einstein. Right? Everybody knows that equation, but you apparently don't understand it. Neither do a lot of people.
Because you don't have to.
Just listen. You're not listening.
Okay.
You're not listening. You're not getting it. You're not hearing what I'm saying.
Okay, go ahead.
It's pretty simple. How much mass had to be converted to energy? How much little m had to become big E in the atomic explosion that destroyed the city of Hiroshima?
I think it was like a couple grams or something.
Less than 7/10 of a gram.
Wow.
Okay. So what the fuck are people talking about changing the mass energy with the vibrating particles? That's stupid.
It's off-shell particles.
Explosion. How much energy they're going to convert? How much mass they're going to lose?
It's off-shell particles, not on-shell. So it's not.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The whole idea is stupid.
Well, no. If it's off mass shell, you don't need the full energy.
It's cargo cult rubbish. It's not logical. It's not mathematical. It's just total insanity. It's total incompetent bullshit.
But the Froelich condensates are also
no, you know what?
Mediated.
No, you didn't. Yeah, okay. There's nothing in what Sal Paez says that is a coherent narrative. He's not telling a coherent. I mean, a Caltech physics major, a smart Caltech, or a smart kid who got into the top. Well, I don't know how it is now with all the DEI, but back at least when I was a student, any competent physics undergraduate listening to this stuff would say, "What is this?" They look as though you're from some kind of a who is this schmuck? Do you understand what I'm saying? That's how bad it is. That's how bad it is. And I have nothing against Sal Paez personally. I would love if what he said were true. I would love it if those patents would have worked, because he was claiming stuff that I'm looking to actually do, but in reality, but not when I see it was all bullshit. So that's why I think what Sal Paez, that may be part of the disinformation operation to get real competent physicists to just read, like I'm rejecting them, say there's nothing there, it's just bullshit. So it could be a deliberate thing. I don't know.
Or you could be a deliberate thing. We don't know either. So we're just going to figure it out.
All right. Well, the point is this.
You do have a history with the CIA from the 1950s, Jack.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I do. Yes. That's correct. But I'm telling the truth.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out.
I want to believe you, and your science sounds sound. So
let's talk, guys.
If you can't understand how the simple idea equals MC squared right away throws away almost everything Sal Paez is claiming and Woodward is claiming. Whenever you see stuff about inertialists, when they're making the inertia equal to zero, so suppose the ship weighs a ton. Okay, wait. There's a flying saucer. Rick Doty says the flying saucer weighed 1.5 tons, that 30-foot thing. And I happen to know that's a real vehicle. That vehicle is real. So it weighs 3,000. It weighs 1.5 tons, basically. So if you want to make that inertialess, that 1.5 tons, you destroy the planet. If less than one paperclip will destroy a city, how much is 1.5 tons?
Well, I mean, that would assume that the inertial mass is equal to the gravitational mass, right?
That is called the equivalence principle, bedrock of relativity theory. Yes. Well,
okay. But if we're making warp drives, we're trying to skirt around relativity.
No, they're not. You don't understand, because with warp drive, you have 3 different kinds of mass. You have active mass, you have passive mass, and you have inertial mass. What we know is that, at least for test particles, that what a test particle means is that it has 0 active mass. It only has inertial mass and passive gravity mass. The active and the passive gravity mass are equal.
Okay.
The warp drive depends on this. That's the Sarfatti theory, that there's this additional factor that the active, under certain conditions, the active mass is not the same as the passive mass. See, most people just assume, because they don't know about UFOs, you see, because UFO show it's false. Up until the UFO evidence, everybody, and even when I took physics, I learned active mass equals passive mass equals inertial mass. So all 3 are equal. It turns out they're not.
Excellent.
It turns out they're not, because of physics is not religion. Physics is an empirical subject. When there's new evidence, new observations, you change your theory.
And on that note, how's the Cavendish experiment going?
Well, I don't know. I'm going to find out when I get to London. That's one of the reasons I'm going to London.
Oh, that's imminent, isn't it?
When you're in London, you should meet up with Bob Greenyer as well.
Who's
and
that?
Also that fellow with the what's his name? With the parametric system stuff.
Simon.
Who?
Just a minute. Let me see if I can search that up again. But he was in London as well, if I recall.
Well, yeah.
I'd love to see Jack link up with Bob Greenyer.
Who is Bob? I've heard the name. I don't know who he is. Who is he?
He's continued a lot of Ken Shoulder's work.
Oh yeah, well, I'm really into it. Listen, I'm pretty focused on what I'm doing because I have enough. There's a lot of math, a lot of stuff to do, and and the Ken Shoulder stuff is interesting because it may have to do with the sentient plasma orbs, but that's not really my main concern right now. I can't do everything. I'm focused on right now on and I even lost track of like they're having. There was a good meeting, by the way. Bernard Carr, this Essentia Foundation. I posted it today on Consciousness in the Mind and Precognition. Julia Mossbridge, and Dan Sheehan, not the Danny Sheehan, not the lawyer, Dan Sheehan, the physicist at the University of San Diego. They're working on stuff which I helped catalyze. Local retrocausality, they have quantum time. They're doing some pretty good work there, experimental work.
John Pendry was the name.
What?
Have you met with John Pendry yet?
Who?
John Pendry. He was the fellow I mentioned.
Oh, Pendry. Is Pendry? Is he one of the bent water guys? Randlesham? Is that who that is?
I'm not sure where.
Pendry. No, Pendry. Oh, Pendry's metamaterial guy.
Metamaterials.
Oh yeah. So I know. He's dead, isn't he? Is he dead?
Oh no, is he?
Oh,
that would suck.
Right, I have to wait. Just a minute.
So basically, when Nathan Enon was talking about boundary conditions of gravitational materials, you have boundary conditions.
Wait a second. I have to check. I have to check my messages. Hang on, something came in. I have to just check this. Go ahead. Oh,
I think he's still alive.
Oh. Okay. Pendry. Well, Cambridge. How was it? What was he born?
Yeah, he's alive.
Yeah, because he got his PhD the same year I got mine.
Yeah. So basically, I was talking with you and a bunch of folks a while back about. I think Nathan Enon was looking at the boundary conditions of a superconductor with normal space in terms of gravity and gravitomagnetic fields and things, right?
Okay, do me a favor. Just send me the paper. I don't have. He's busy. I'm busy. I'm not going to have time to actually physically meet him. I wouldn't mind.
Okay. Yeah, I'll send you his.
Where is he now? Where is he now? Let me see.
I think he's in
Imperial
London
College.
Yeah,
Imperial College. I could walk. I could walk to Imperial College. Yeah, but
there you go.
If I see a seminar where they're talking, I may just go. If I have time. I'm pretty busy when I'm in London, but I'll see if I can. Okay. Imperial College is like walking distance from my.
Yeah,
friends.
Awesome. Yeah, that's where I think it's important. I think because so basically. When we see the Klevnov experiment and the Ning Li experiment and stuff with rotating superconductors, what we see is they get these gravity beam-like behavior when there is a rapid transition from superconducting to non-superconducting.
Oh yeah, good.
And so there is a temporal boundary condition on the material.
Listen. That's interesting you said that. See, what's happening right now, let me explain something. The ETs or the NHIs, whatever they are manipulating your mind for you to tell me this, because only the other day, a few days ago, I channel. You see, you don't even know we're channeling stuff. at the critical point of a phase transition, the influence on gravity should be very big. Is that what they're saying? Because I came to that conclusion just 2 days ago.
Yeah, no, I intuitively understood this. The first time that I told you to talk to Pendry.
All right. Do you see this book? Look. See this book?
Yep. Oh, that's a good one.
Just shut up. Listen, just shut up. Let me tell you a story.
Go ahead.
All right. So I have a lot of shit in my apartment, right? A lot of shit in my apartment. My girlfriend who owns the place, and she's, we're like the Odd Couple. Do you ever see the Odd Couple? Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon. I'm the slob. I have my own little apartment. She has, she's the princess with a big, we live in a beautiful big place, like a Florentine palace here, in Russian Hill in San Francisco. But hey, all this crap. So I finally got my next door neighbor who helps me, keeps the place clean, and he and his friend came, and I gave him some money, and we spent the whole 4 hours getting rid of all kinds of crap, throwing it out with special pickup by the garbage the next day. But in my garage, I have this metal file cabinet where I had a bunch of stuff, and I couldn't. The drawers jammed. Couldn't get into it. And they cleaned out. I found it, and something guided me to this book, which I had locked away. Forgot I had it. Very good book, but it's an excellent book. Cambridge University, Cambridge. Okay.
Yeah, I agree. It's a good book.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I
And
have one.
and
I have
oh,
one.
okay, you have it. Okay. And then I just opened
pretty
it
nice
up
apartment.
and bang. Listen, it was all like a chat. It was all like a contact. I'm getting. Said, look at this. I open it up, and there's this thing about critical points, where there's a generalized susceptibility, and it becomes, roughly speaking, it's not. It becomes infinite at the phase transition. Okay, yeah, that's a critical point phenomenon. This is renormalization group, all that kind of stuff. And I wish I kind of knew that. I used to know that back years ago. I went to meetings and all this shit. But it reminded me, okay? The whole thing is that the difference between active matter generating gravity and passive mass, passive mass, is you have to multiply the passive mass by this generalized susceptibility.
Yeah.
And when susceptibility gets big in a phase transition, that's when you're going to get a big effect. So
But that's what the price effect is.
Okay, so that may be. It sounds like what you're telling me. All right.
So, so he was taking a superconductor and rapidly transitioning it from.
That's like the phase transition, second order.
Yeah, he was rapidly transitioning a superconductor from superconducting to non-superconducting and back and forth.
Yeah. I expect something like that. That makes sense to me because of what I read in this book. And that's what I'm working on right now. That's what the stuff I'm putting up on X.com is all based on this book. I'm doing stuff based on this book.
Well, I'm glad at least you can formalize the math for us. If Sal had at least
the math is element. You know what it is? What I'm doing. I'm doing it all day today.
Awesome.
It turns out, just listen to this. It's just the algebra. It's high school physics. It's high school physics. It's high school math. It's the algebra of complex numbers. Can get very complicated very quickly.
Well, it's a little bit more than that because you also have variational calculus to contend with.
No, but I'm talking about where I'm at right now. Calculating the susceptibilities. I have like the squares of complex numbers, but the point is, its amplitude of the phase involves the inverse tangent function, and it gets pretty complicated.
Yeah,
it gets the algebra, but because I have a math program, I'm able to do it. So if I was trying to do it with a pencil and paper, I'd get lost. Immediately,
keeping track of minus signs.
Keeping track, minus signs and this, and it's fairly complicated. But with the computer, it doesn't. It's able to do it. So, no, what's this asshole, Josh Wheat, asshole? Look, you asshole. I don't want to work with Sal Pais. He's an idiot.
But you do with Bob Grenier, all right?
He's
two
a
different
schmuck.
Things.
I don't have to work. We're going to work with schmucks. He doesn't know anything.
Hey, Robert Grenier is completely different, and he's Ken Shoulders' work, EVOs.
The more I see people, I'm a misanthrope. I'm getting to be a misanthrope because I can't. There's so few moderately intelligent people, it seems, left, that everybody's become so stupid from I don't know what's going on here.
Hey, well, you don't get old and wise without first being young and stupid.
Some of these comments from these people who are tuning in, they're so stupid. Okay, but let me see. Can I see what the guy? Give me a chance to read it. No, wait.
Don't read the comments.
Never read. I don't.
Try to put up the good
There's
one.
so much. Like half of these are bots, probably.
Look at
anyway.
that. Any schmuck who uses that mask and calls himself what do you call him? Deadhead schmuck. He's a schmuck. At least he knows he's a schmuck.
Okay, here's the question: is my prime minister Castro's son?
That's true. That's true. But so what? Why is he bringing it up here? See, people
because Canada is currently communist, and I gotta watch what I broadcast because of C-52. You guys can say stuff. I'll go to jail, but you'll wear Free Bernie shirts, so I'll be okay.
Yeah, all right, okay. And by the way, if you say Trudeau is Castro's son in Canada, they put you in jail.
Seriously? What?
Shit, I'm going to jail.
I think so. That's at least they want. At least.
Oh, Bernie's.
Okay, you see how stupid what people. What's wrong with these people? Why? What's wrong? These people have they're mindless. They're brainless. They're like the walking zombies. Like
Zombie Nation, right?
Zombie Nation. They're not fleshy. They're mind eating. They're brain rots. They have no brains left. Look what they're saying.
Well, that's 50 years or 100 years of counterintelligence work at work.
Well, that's the Yuri Bezmenov. Yeah, we were living in idiocracy. We're really, okay. MK Ultra, right. What's this? Wait, I love what you saying. He does my half physics. Can argue behind closed door. Yeah, that's right. That's good. This guy's smart. So Mui Mongol, smart kid. He gets an A. Okay, let's grade everybody. Let's just do a little game. Let's grade the comment. Come on, comments. What is that?
They're agreeing with you that
What is
everyone's
NPC?
non-player
People
characters.
watching.
What is that? Wait, explain. What is NPC?
NPC means non-player character. Like
It's a
everybody
video
is
game.
a zombie. They're agreeing with you, Jack, that everyone's our
Okay,
NPC.
okay. I didn't understand. What else? Let's see some other comments. Let's have a little fun here. Okay.
I
The light
don't
is on. Okay, wait. Don't go so fast. Supreme being, yes, there is a supreme being. Well, let me be very careful. There are many different levels, hierarchy, the great chain of being. There are all these different kinds of intelligences. The universe itself. See, this has to do with the sentient plasmas, because it means electromagnetic fields can be conscious, artificial intelligence can be conscious, because that's what we are. We are orbs. The electromagnetic fields inside the brain, the microtubules, all that stuff. That's what we are. We're orbs, confined, the electromagnetic fields, the brain waves, all that stuff. This consciousness. That's what Section 7, that paper explains the math of all that. Simple, okay? Just the gravitational field itself can be conscious.
But if we
That's
also,
one. Let's just let me. Just don't talk, because you don't know what, you don't know anything. Let me talk. Don't
Okay,
interrupt.
go ahead.
Don't interrupt unless I say. I'll ask, please.
But we got a troll.
Just shut up, because I'm trying to give you a coherent story. Okay.
Okay.
All right. And I'll give you time to say the question, and then say. So hold your question. So now I forgot what I was fucking talking about. Oh yeah.
Orbs, sentient orbs.
All right. Okay. The gravitational field itself, what's called the post-quantum gravitational field, has consciousness in the same way we have consciousness. What we are, human consciousness, are post-quantum electromagnetic fields. And the universe itself. So there is a conscious, we do live in a conscious universe, like Dean Rain, some of the Rupert Sheldrake, all these guys, there is. But yeah, so the answer is, but I have the precise quantum physics, how that happens. So in that sense, but whether that particular cosmic consciousness takes any interest in us, I don't know, maybe it does, maybe it does. You have to read Olaf Stapleton, the Star Maker, Olaf Stapleton's books. They talk, there's some pretty good, and there's a Solaris, there's a lot of good science fiction stories about this concept. Does Jack do DMT? No, I've never done DMT.
Apparently, we all
Jack,
did it when we were born, and then when you go into REM sleep or something.
What?
Apparently, DMT is created when you're in the body, when you're born, when you go into your REM sleep, and when you die.
Yeah, maybe, but I've never done that kind of drug. I wouldn't do it.
So
I knew.
I have
John
also
Lilly.
never done the drug, just to be honest. But
Just shut up a minute. I'm going to tell you something you don't know. Richard Feynman did DMT when he was dying at Esalen, and he was dying of cancer. Okay, back in like around 88, something like 87, and because I knew John Lilly who was friends of his, they were from Caltech. He came to Esalen. John Lilly gave him DMT, to help in his dying. Okay, listen. So what's this? What's that? Dead fish cheese? Just listen. Yeah, JJ, just listen. Okay, keep going. What else? Does anybody say anything intelligent? That you are retarded.
Well, here's something.
I'm retarded. That's what
who's Crypto Alchemist? Who's the?
I am.
Oh,
that is
are.
me.
Okay, yeah, all right. You go. What's the Lazar thing? Is that people can't even spell? You know what the fuck they're talking about?
So how can God be all knowing, all present, and all powerful?
No, I don't think. I'm not saying that. I'm not going that far. That's
no. If all consciousness is sort of God, then all beings are conscious. So it's obviously all knowing. It's all present, and it's all powerful, because no matter who wins.
All right, you're getting into theology. Let's go. Okay, let's see. Let's
well, I'm not too good at theology anyway, but that's
it's not important. There's nothing of interest here. Wait, I want to see what these people are saying. Don't feel bad. Okay, help it. Well, we're doomed. I'd love to help. I'm trying to, but I live in I have New York City. Yeah. I grew up.
What do you think about the increased solar activity and all of the heightened continuous auroras?
This weekend, good chance for.
Okay. Are there any intelligent questions? Is there any? Wait a minute. I'm like an extraterrestrial. Come down. Is there any intelligent life on Earth? I haven't seen very much evidence of that.
We don't know either. Anyway,
I haven't seen. Certainly, there's no intelligence in the American government at the top levels. There's very little intelligence there.
Yeah.
What? Okay, but Solar, but he has one. What? What does he say? Say something. People are inarticulate.
So let's see. So you need the mass term of the graviton and the photon to get the interaction between them?
No, wait.
That's a separate question. So I was in.
Wait. Let me just hang on for that. So yes, if all objects have their own gravity, but they do. The answer is they do, but it's so tiny. It's very tiny in general, so you don't notice it.
Oh, what do you think of?
Wait. Just listen. I'm focusing on these things. Okay, just hold that. Intelligent one. Could you elaborate on your ideas about retrocausality and its potential implications for understanding time? Excellent question, but I can't give you a short answer. Now, if you go on Twitter, my x.com, you have to, I have it protected, so you have to follow me, and just send me a message ask to follow me. I'll put you on there, and then I just posted today a tweet. They just had a conference about a year ago. Bernard Carr, who I know, who had worked with Stephen Hawking, he's a retired professor from Cambridge and University of London. I know him for 60 years. He was Stephen Hawking's assistant, and he's into retrocausality and paranormal and stuff. And they just had a very good conference about a year ago with Julia Mossbridge, George Ellis, all these top guys, very smart physicists, about this whole thing about that. So if you look at that videos, it's like 2 days of videos. That's exactly what they're talking about. That was a very good question. And the answer is yes, retrocausality is at the heart. You cannot understand quantum entanglement without retrocausality. It's retrocausality in combination with quantum entanglement, which is the basis of consciousness and everything, that makes it consistent with with Einstein's relativity theory. So it's extremely important. Okay. All right. Okay. Let me see. So that's the first good question I've seen. Good question that requires study. Excellent. People are spending years thinking about that question, but it's something that's worth thinking about. Okay. To the man, so I can see him. His name is David Hudson. I don't know. I don't know who David Hudson.
He was the one on the Ormus, like the
what?
Monoatomic materials.
Oh, it's bullshit. Crap. It's as bad as Sal. Yeah, I do know. Yeah, but it's bullshit. Crap. He's another Sal Pais. Worse. Makes Sal Pais look smart. Yes, that's right. He was called. No, wait. They're too fast. Steven, yes. But actually, Eric Weinstein met with Epstein. A lot of people met with Epstein. Doesn't mean they were doing sex with Epstein. There were two Epsteins. Epstein had a genuine interest in physics. He funded a lot of physicists, like Seth Lloyd. These guys, a lot of guys I know knew Epstein. I'm glad I never knew him. I would have taken his money, probably, and I would have been like, God knows what. Seth Lloyd lost his MIT position because of Epstein. When Epstein met Stephen Hawking, I don't think there was any hanky-panky sex going on. It was strict, right? So,
or was it the only time there was hanky-panky going on?
What? And what kind of hanky-panky could Hawking do? He can't move.
They can.
Well, that's why it's hired.
They can watch. They can.
Yeah, I don't know. No, so
I don't know. I don't know what happened there. Lawrence Krauss got all weird when I asked him about.
Come on, Bernie, Hepjack has on the Discovery Army. It's bullshit. Yeah, Discovery, but Army, all that. It's bullshit. It's crap. It's cargo cult pseudoscience, and that's all I'll say about it. I have no interest. It's zero.
So you don't think he was corrupting and manipulating scientists the way he did to Andrew?
It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Yeah, they're all charlatans, and they're stealing money from stupid people who believe them. That kind of bullshit. Okay, let's see. What are NPCs again? What's NPCs? SimTer. What is this?
So in video games, there's you play with online multiplayer games, especially.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You'll have player
characters
who are real people.
I've never played a video game.
Who look the same but are actually AIs.
Okay. I've never actually played a video game. I'm glad I didn't because I'm afraid.
Good on you.
Yeah, it's a waste of time in the long run.
Yeah,
especially if you know this much physics.
Okay. Yeah, I don't believe. I think so. I see no evidence that they have. I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
I
So
hope you are,
EVOs are a
'cause that's
thing.
what I make.
You are saying EVOs are a thing, though, based on the document that was out there, right?
All right. I'll forget Harry the cat. He's a schmuck. Don't play. Okay. Don't play a cat. Yeah. Who cares? Not relevant. There you go. That's how. Wait. Okay. Wait. This is a good question. This is good. Yes. Good. Jakey Philly fan, whoever that is. He gets an A plus. The other guy, there was so far 2 A pluses. Referring to 7. So you are saying that the particles are influenced by the quantum field. They can also influence the field of return. That's the key idea. Yes, because the quantum field itself is the mind field, it's a mental field. That's what we are. We're quantum fields, qubits. We're quantum information fields. That's what we are. So yes, J.K. Philly fan gets an A plus, a gold star in the Sarfatti class of physics. Okay, who's Dr. Gordon Freeman? I don't know who that is. Anybody know who Dr. Gordon Freeman is? I don't know. Who's
It's
Gordon?
a video game character, Jack.
That's a fake name. He's an NPC as well. So
It's a
wow.
video game character.
All right, come on. Let's see if that's okay. So
Half-Life.
we've had 2 good. No, I've heard about it. I've heard about it just recently. It's interesting. It's a good question. I've heard about it, and I've heard it. I'm a guy who I have to be careful not to mention his ID. Yeah, this is supposed to be important. I haven't seen it myself, but I know what. No, I haven't seen the custodian file, but I've heard about it. Okay, think about 20 how all the CEOs quit last week. Oh well, I never even knew who Diddy was until I'm not sure who he is.
It's a diddler. That's all you need to know.
I don't want to use the N word. Some dumb N word. Okay, and there are a lot of white people I know who are dumb N words too. Okay, the credit what was that? I don't know. Who cares? That's all bullshit. Dave Martin is an idiot. Let's go. Wait. Go back. Yeah, the Plato's allegory of the cave, very, very important. That's the key principle of physics. Is Plato's allegory of the cave is the basic print. That's what group theory, symmetry, principles of physics all about. The allegory of the cave, and at some point, so that's good. So this guy gets a B plus. Okay, well maybe A minus. All right, go ahead. No, wait. Be another way. Quantize or more variant measurements, or even variant scale measurement. I'm not sure. It's kind of what he's saying. I thought he hasn't quite expressed. There's something there. He's got. It's not a bit. Okay, he's talking about. Well, okay, the objectivity of theoretical physics are in what are called invariant measurements or invariants of frame transformations. So in quantity, it's kind of a jumbled question, but there's a thought behind this, even at scale measurements. This guy, Igno, would have to try to kind of break. There's like 3 questions there. He's like, put 3 questions, 1 question. And I'm not going to reject it. There's this guy is, there's something I can't really answer because it's not formulated properly, but there's like this, there's fire beneath the smoke there. He has like 3 different things. Quantized units is an issue. Invariant measurements extremely important. And the scale, the scale, variance scale, that's called wavelets, fractals. It's called the renormalization group flow of the coupling constants. There's a guy in Russia. Okay, it's a good question, leads to a lot of associations, creative associations. There's a guy in Moscow, because he's on the web, he's on the archive, the ePrint archive. His name is Mikhail, the Russian Mikhail Altaisky, Altaisky. And he talks about using wavelet scale, variance scale, wavelet transforms in quantum field theory and turbulence theory, and even in consciousness kind of hierarchy. Yeah, it's all related to this stuff. Okay, and I don't know. So there's this guy, Mikhail Altaisky. He has a bunch of very good papers, all about conscious artificial, like neural nets, conscious intelligence. Hang on.
Find these papers and post them on Twitter so people.
No, you find them. It's just go with
Yeah, you can find them easily.
Twitter's job is
Mikel
for.
The
I'll
names
test
get
you.
hard to spell, man. It's.
I got the name, Jeremy. I saw when they were
Awesome.
talking about.
I'm
Altes.
also
put these together.
Jack.
It's
Don't
easy to
worry.
find.
I go through and I rewatch this 3 or 4 times while editing, and I've made lots
so
of notes to make
Altesky-
little
so
shorts to
Altesky's-
get your.
Altesky's doing some very good work. But, Okay, so go on. What's the next? Do you think Christopher Columbus was a real guy? Oh, who cares? Yeah. I think he was.
Come
real.
on, real questions, intelligent.
Jack, Jack,
what am I thinking? The double
Try it
slit.
again. Sorry.
The double
Jack, I'm
slit
curious.
experiment. Okay, let's this question. It's sort of a decent question. The double slit experiment is the basic experiment of quantum mechanics. Read Richard Feynman when he talks about the double slit experiment. Who is Charles Bull? I've heard the name. So what? What is the electrostat? It's kind of a stupid question.
It's electrogravitic effects, like Thomas Townsend Brown back in the day.
Who? Like who? Go slower. He's talking too fast. Who?
Do you recall Thomas Townsend Brown at all?
Yeah, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. No, okay.
Huh.
It's just iron wind. Okay, this iron wind. It's Now I heard something. There was something about somebody said that there might be some gravitational thing. I saw something. I didn't have time to really look at it, but basically, it's basically a false trail. I think. I could be mistaken. There was something I did see. I did want to check out. That somebody said something that sounded semi-intelligent. That maybe he was seeing something. Not because what. I don't know, but my basic bias is that it's not worth looking at, but I could be wrong. Okay, no, wait. Yeah, well, Eric Weinstein, that's why he's an asshole, because he ignores Jack Sarfatti. I'm what he's looking for. But I'm an asshole too. So he's an arrogant narcissist, and I'm an arrogant narcissist. Both arrogant Jewish kids.
Yeah, I feel like they're like
the moon landings are the moon landings, some of this bullshit crazy stuff. I know Buzz Aldrin, who was on the moon. I met him personally. In fact, I spent a whole weekend with Buzz Aldrin sitting next to me in a Werner Erhard S training in 1975, maybe it was 76, with a lot of famous people, including Sterling Hayden, all kinds of stuff. And we definitely went to the moon. I know a lot of top people at NASA. So all the stuff that we didn't go to. Now, they did make these fake movies, in case they were practicing. They did make these fake movies, in the hangars. But they also went to the moon. Okay, all right. Okay, what's this? Charlestown. I've read in double slit experiment. But why behave? Okay, listen. Now you have to then. We don't have time for this. This whole course in quantum mechanics. You have to spend at least an hour on. You just go to Wikipedia. There's many movies, Feynman, and videos. There's so many good demonstrations explaining the double slit experiment. And you have to understand from the Bohmian point of view. Okay, what you do here is you go to the Cambridge University lectures, Cavendish Lab lectures at Cambridge University from 2008 or 2009. They're all online by Michael Towler, Towle. Michael Towler, called the Bohmian Pilot Wave Theory. It's a set of 8 lectures. In lecture 8, he talks about some of my stuff. He will explain all this very nicely in a beautiful, PowerPoint presentations. That's so you can learn your quantum mechanics, your Bohmian quantum mechanics, double slit from those lectures. But the double slit experiment is the basis of quantum mechanics. It's the base of all the quantum weirdness is in the double slit experiment, where you shoot in one photon at a time at very low intensity, and you see the interference pattern building up and have what that means and everything. It's showing that the wave function is there, but the wave function is mental. So what they're trying to do now, what Julia Morsbridge and Dan Sheehan at University of San Diego, this Jesuit school in San Diego, they're trying to see and Dane Reid, they're seeing how the mind can influence the buildup of the interference patterns in the double slit experiment. Even doing it from the future, doing it like you could show there are ways, experimental protocols, we can see how a future cause of a past effect. So in any case, there's a lot of work being done there.
I have a question about
the true direction of future physics is in my work on weakening this. Okay, Pius calls it the super force, but he doesn't say the trick is to how to make it weaker, how to make it into a from super force to wimpy force, weak force. You want to make it weak. That's the whole secret of all this shit. Not about high energy. That's what makes it low energy, by making the super force weak, using the susceptibility going to infinity at a phase transition, like you were talking about. See, that's the trick. That's one of the. Well, there's other ways too, but that's one of the tricks. Okay. Oh, don't ask me about stupid that brought down. See, that's a stupid. This guy's an idiot.
Is it though? Is it because like they fell in the face of gravity, Jack?
But it's irrelevant. It's noise in the city. We're trying to stay on track with serious questions about physics, not about.
That's a physics question. It's a physics question.
Okay, it's a physics question. I have no opinion because I'm not an expert in structural mechanics. I know my limits. Okay, I'm not an expert. Okay. Levels you believe there's a spectrum. Yeah. Okay. You're going too fast. Okay. No, forget Van Allen radiation belts. I don't want to talk about it. It's good physics, but it's irrelevant to.
No, I'm saving that for another time. I don't want to talk about that right now. We're going to do a whole nother deep dive on the moon landing, and
there's some auroras coming up too.
Right.
Huge. Don't worry about
anything. Okay, Glenn, do your homework. Go on Wikipedia. Read about Riemannian geometry. Go into Wikipedia, read about general relativity, Riemannian geometry, or see the book Flatland, start with Edward Flatland. These are all elementary things that they should be teaching in elementary school. See, this is showing how bad, because these people are motivated, right? They're interested in the topic. But they know so little. They've gotten such a bad education from the communist bastards, leftists, who the same ones who created Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and Bill Clinton and all these assholes, that they're cheating these students who really want to know something. They don't know anything. They're a bunch of morons. Not their fault. It's the fault of these assholes in the schools that are watering down, that are dumbing down, making idiocracy. Okay. I don't know about the Solarian. The Pear Project, Princeton. Yeah. That was I know those people. That was a good project. And so it was a good project. I never heard of Solarian, but it was Pear Project was who's the guy? I forget the guy's name now. He's dead. Robert Jahn, Jahn. I think he's dead. This was years ago, but that was a good psychic project at Princeton. Yes. All right, go ahead. No, I haven't heard, but that's all real. Yes, the UFO's been around. All that stuff is real. UFO's been around thousands of years. Well, yeah, the ancient man. Oh, and there were plenty of paintings when I was in Florence. I used to love showing me these paintings from the Middle Ages, the Renaissance UFOs. You see it in these paintings, exactly what we're seeing now. So that's all true. That's all real. Okay, wait. Blindside, Stone Cold Sarfatti. It's crypto with a kick.
That's just you kicking my ass in the
ring.
Right,
yeah, okay,
mixed
good.
martial arts.
That's true. Okay, go ahead. Go next one. What else is there?
I guess we're almost at 3 hours, or wrap things up.
I know we got like 700 people watching now. It's crazy.
I have a few questions for Jack as well. So for post quantum mechanics, so there's.
Hey, can you do? Wait, let me ask before you go on, Jeremy. Are you able to put closed captioning on where you could see? So because So I
not live. It has to register, and then YouTube does it all after.
Okay, so hey, you want to make
when you rewatch it, it'll be on.
Yeah, afterwards. But you know what would be good to make somebody could make some money. Some programmer could create an extension, an add-on to these software programs where the closed captioning happens in real time, because that'd be better. I mean, guys like me, I could if I could see what people are saying, because a lot of the audio is sometimes not that good. I can't always understand what Perone and other people are saying because, Philadelphia, Philadelphia Experiment, real. I know from top CIA guys at the time involved, I can't go into details. Philadelphia Experiment, real. And I have from several different independent sources, all high up in the intelligence communities from many years ago. I know Philadelphia Experiment was a real thing, and it's happening now. It's still happening. with the undersea UFOs. They can do all that to Navy ships. I can tell you one thing. There are parts of the oceans where our submarines and our warship aircraft carriers, battle groups are told not to go, because if they go there, they're going to be, maybe sunk.
What if I told you and Sal Pius both agreed on that?
Well, listen, I'm not saying everything's. Look, I'm not saying everything's Sal. Listen, let's get this clear. The same thing with. I have not said that what Chris Mellon, Sal Pais, Bob Lazar, and all these other assholes, Elizondo. I'm not saying that everything they say is false. No, I'm only saying their physics is no good. I don't depend on what they say. I know from my own sources.
Their science is no good. And I think that honestly, a lot of these people in the mainstream who get the attention and don't talk about the right science are like distractions on purpose.
Yeah, well, maybe
they get all the attention.
Maybe
they get all the views.
So if Sal Pais has said that, I didn't know that, and that Sal Pais is, because I know that. I know a lot about that. I know that, and that's true.
So for the post-quantum mechanics stuff,
First,
what would
Michael Towler. First read the Michael Towler lecture.
Okay.
First you have to do the regular Bohmian stuff. And then once you do that, just communicate, then you read Roderick Sutherland. Roderick Sutherland shows how to post-quantum, action, reaction, all that stuff. It's all very precise now.
I'm just looking for an overview, kind of, but
the overview I just told you. Just listen to what I said. For the basic Bohmian theory, you have to start with Michael Towler's 8 lectures from the Cavendish Laboratory at Cambridge University. They're very nicely done. He's a good teacher, and you'll learn your basic stuff from there. Then from there, you go to Roderick Sutherland's papers on the archive, and then you'll learn what I'm talking about.
So what was the interpretation in post-quantum mechanics of the uncertainty principle then? Is that like a hydrodynamic?
No, the answer, well, there too, it depends what you mean with answer. The uncertainty principle is simply read Michael Towler. I can't get
Okay, gotcha.
Michael, that's elementary stuff. That's the first thing you learn about. Okay, all right, go on. Yeah, and by the way, the uncertainty principle is also only true when you have Born probability, called the limit of orthodox quantum mechanics, when the action-reaction principle is violated. In other words, when the quantum wave function changes the classical motion of the particle, but the particle does not directly back react on its wave function. Okay, and then but you can violate the Heisenberg uncertainty principle with action in the post-quantum case. This is what a guy named there's also Tony Valentini. He has papers on the archive. Anthony Valentini, from a slightly different point of view, he calls it violating subquantum equilibrium. And you can see you can violate the uncertainty principle. To communicate, telepathy, psychokinesis, all the magical stuff, the high strangeness of all that stuff, that the Uri Geller, all that stuff, that is a violation of the uncertainty principle. Of course, it's the post-quantum. There's a violation of the uncertainty principle in a certain sense. Okay. All right, go ahead.
Jack, I was going to work with David Chester. He's interested in the idea of putting together a panel to just specifically for undergrad and like young students that are getting into the physics of giving them a guide of all the scientists they should follow, all the papers they should get into, where they're going to find real knowledge and the kind of stuff that they should stay away from if they don't want to get sucked down false rabbit holes of just
a roadmap of the prerequisite knowledge. Yes.
Would you be interested in participating in?
Well, I'm doing that all the time. I'm posting all the good stuff. Anybody wants to do that, just follow me on x.com and you'll see every day I post stuff, and then you can take the stuff I'm saying and then organize it better and put it in there. Yeah, go ahead. In terms of my contribution, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing my stream of content, my research is all there, and now it requires editors, okay? Just edit, take the stuff, and show me what you're doing, and I'll give you feedback. So I'm putting it out there. I'm doing all that already.
Awesome. Well, I'm doing my part. We got like 700 people live at one point watching this stream. So this is a major success. I want to thank you for participating. I go to bed. Let's sleep on all this knowledge that you've shared with us. My brain's overflowing. I have to go and process.
I gotta rewatch this 3 times on Alien Scientist.
Oh, there
bless
will
you,
be
Jack, for speaking.
Okay, it'll
your
be
truth.
good with closed captioning. Closed captioning. Yeah, we need that. All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
So
certainly got my
that's
reading.
Work,
Yeah, make
gentlemen.
sure to meet Pendry. I'll send you a reminder email.
Yeah. Just remind me email. Yeah, I'm a big email guy. Okay, so that's it, right? We go. Is that it?
We're good.